Boots starts us off on Columbus Day. Nancy Sinatra, fine Italian American. Hey, this is the Bennington Show, and one of us is an Italian American. One of us, pure. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I'm Ron Bennington. I'm not making this up. This sounds like a joke, but I had to stop and let the Columbus Day parade go by, right? And we're all stopped on the street, and there's a light rain, and, you know, there's plenty of people annoyed. And in the Columbus Day parade was a corrections bus that was just driving along. And I couldn't figure out. And I'm like saying to people, I'm like, hey, isn't this crazy? A corrections bus? And then they're speaking back to me in German or Swedish. They don't know. You know what I mean? These are tourists. They don't know what's going by them. But a corrections bus in the middle of a salute to Italian Americans.
Is it part of it?
Yes, it was in the parade.
Why?
First there was a corrections van, followed by a corrections bus.
That's so weird.
When the float went by, the history of corruption, I'm like, this is just guys with sharks on holding money. Oh, I get it, loan sharks, fun. But seriously, the corrections bus was in the middle of that, and I believe this was a parade where they uninvited the mayor of New York City, who I think is Italian American, because he said he would take a look at the Columbus statues things, that we take a good look. I mean, we have a problem here, even if you try to get rid of it. Like, you know, we have that circle.
Right.
That's a landmark.
Pretty big deal.
Now, on the other side of town, Joseph Mengele Center. Again, how do you get out of that? What are you supposed to do?
That's part of our heritage.
They're trying to take away our heritage and history, which we celebrate through statues. That's how.
And we're also celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day today.
But they could have their own day. I mean, I have no problem with them having their own day.
It's out of spite.
But Columbus Day, it's really less of a salute to Columbus, who, I mean, after third grade, did you ever talk about Columbus again?
No.
It's less of a salute to that than it is to Italian Americans, and they feel, you know, great about themselves. So the Italian Americans need a day. And then the Native people can have a day. I mean, everybody gets a day in New York anyway.
Yeah, but let's not split the day and make it
Right.
You know.
No, it's 2 different days. That's all. Pick a day for yourself. When one of your great chiefs was born or something like that. Even though I'm sure they don't know the exact date because they didn't have calendars.
That was the tricky thing this morning. I was like, do we start with Nancy Sinatra or Robbie Robertson? Very tricky. Very tricky.
Well, everybody, you know, everyone kind of loves Native American culture. I mean, you go into any kind of bookstore and there's always something to buy and wear, and you know what I mean?
And what was it about it, too, when you were a kid? Like, that was maybe the most fun history portion. I don't know. Like,
yes.
I feel like we all really dug any Native American studies.
Yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, they're constantly camping, and that was exciting to a kid. And then there was, like, no schooling. You just learned to do all the
cool
fun
weapons.
things. Yeah, the best weapons ever. I mean, believe it or not, I would pick a tomahawk over an axe in any fight. I would just rather have a tomahawk.
Yeah.
And scalping was thrilling.
Oh, yeah. Very exciting to children.
But I understand that even scalping came from more of the Europeans than it did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they wanted the scalps of those people, which is, can't you just trust me? You know what I mean? Do I really have to go to this fucking place? You know, I have to tell you, you know, you just try to move along and hope everybody enjoys life. And I wish we could stop fighting so much. I really do. I mean, it's a very fucking short line. I gotta check out some of these things. Somebody ratted us out to, well, Vito, it was your giant day. This is yours, the Columbus Day special that we did. It's all 100% you. And you did a wonderful job. Is it playing again today?
It played again this morning.
Okay, this morning. So now it's done.
Yes, it's done.
But a rat out there wrote this to someone. Vito, the Bennington Show producer, put together a Columbus Day special featuring Italian-American comedians and no Matteo Lane, sorry to say. And then Matteo Lane wrote back, what? So you got ratted out.
I feel I saw that tweet, and I feel bad that Matteo didn't make it, but there's a lot of great Italian-American comedians that didn't make the list.
That's not the way to make somebody feel better. That's not good producing. This is good producing. Ready? Well, we didn't want to use Matteo Lane because we have something very special coming up soon featuring Matteo Lane. And that way it's not a you didn't make the list. It's we love you and we're going to make this even better. Some people wrote to us about GPS, which GPS Athens, really a good one, really a fun one.
It was so great. And we got a tweet from Vanessa, who is the lead singer of Pylon.
Bullshit.
I swear.
Now you just made me nervous.
No, I'm serious. She tweeted us, said that she was coming back from a show. They were coming back from a show and listened to GPS Athens in the car after a show.
Oh, that just makes up for this whole Matteo Lane fuck up that Vito had, which I told you, and I'll produce emails. Matteo Lane has to be the centerpiece of this. I said over and over. But the Pylon thing, that's amazing.
I know, it's so cool. That was such a fun GPS. Maybe one of my favorite, just like track listings we've ever done.
Yeah, it was a really, really great one. And now I just want all the bands to listen while they're on tour in their tour bus.
It replays tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Deep Tracks Channel 27 and available on demand.
Now I'm actually thinking, like, what was the band thinking of it? Were they like, why did they get into the 90s shit?
Right. We could have just stayed on the 80s.
More Pylon.
Shouldn't there have been more 40 watt talk? What? And why wasn't Matteo Lane in this? He's a lovely singer and a great impressionist and comedian. I haven't even seen Matteo in a long time.
I know. I miss him.
He's in vogue. People want him everywhere.
I have noticed that. He is all over the place now.
Comedy careers move so fast. I remember we met Matteo and Liza the same day, and they're basically were telling us, like, we stink outside of New York. You know what I mean? Like, just telling us gigs that they went to, and no one got what they were talking about. And now they're everywhere. And everybody's talking about them like, big headliners.
They're both so funny, too. Like, they're crazy funny.
Yeah, they are, man. I don't know why Vito didn't think so. I would have put them both in.
Why didn't he put Lisa Trigger in?
She's not even Italian-American.
I know, but we love her.
She's Russian, and that's the same thing to me. They're all
They're
criminal.
very similar.
All criminal background.
Different kinds of criminals.
Stop it, Vito. You want to act like a producer now. A producer doesn't defend, okay? He moves it. Look at Harvey Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
I am being tutored right now, and plus I was raised in the 60s and 70s. I get it now. This is the most interesting thing to me out of the whole Harvey Weinstein scene, is they are saying that his brother was behind this coup. His brother was feeding information to the New York Times, or New York Slimes, as we sometimes say, or Jew pork rinds. So, I know.
Doesn't even sound so bad.
They say pork rinds is the best thing for you. Best thing for your heart. Opens everything up. Yeah, it's the best vegetable we have. But yeah, that his brother wanted to take over the company is this thing. I think the Post put it out. So he was very helpful. And they said that when the thing came down to Harvey, because Harvey was like, I'm going to resign. I'm going to, suspend myself from my own company. And I'll move on, and I'll come back, and we'll Mel Gibson this thing. And the company fired him, and they said it was fucking. And I would just picturing Harvey screaming at a table somewhere would have been fantastic.
Yeah, this thing is so crazy, and I can't believe that it was possibly brother against brother on this.
Yeah, and see, here's what always happened according to the books I've read. So the Weinsteins have always fought like brothers, right? But then if somebody said, well, Bob's the one who fucks that up, Harvey would go nuts. And Bob's people, if they said anything about Harvey, Bob would go nuts. So it was like you couldn't even agree with them on what a dick their brother was. But it finally came to this point, and I can't remember the last kind of big hit that they have. I think it's been a while. I mean, let's face it, the Weinstein Company, never as cool as the Miramax Company, but movies not as cool as they used to be anyway.
That was a golden era.
Yeah. And, I mean, they still got stuff nominated for Oscars and stuff like that, but they didn't have the Pulp Fiction-y type hits.
Right.
Now it's kind of interesting. Where's Tarantino going to go? Is every studio in the world calling Tarantino? And Tarantino, no matter what, Harvey was always a dick to everybody but Tarantino. Like, he's had to put up with some of, the Kill Bills was a problem where they had to split it in half. And that drive-in movie thing that they did, remember that, where they tried to have two features?
Grindhouse.
Harvey was like, Tarantino, you're the draw. The other movie's fucking us up. You know what I mean? Let's just do yours. And then that last one where we can only open in certain theaters and it's got to be shown, that was a problem for Harvey. It's all these things you could see why Quentin would want to do it. But it hurt box office every single time. So is Tarantino going to be in a whole new kind of situation?
Yeah, because that's obviously somebody who goes to bat for him with all of those crazy things.
Not even goes to bat. Like, literally lets some of these things happen that are not the best marketing tools. It's just something that Quentin gets in his head and he wants to do. So that's kind of interesting. But then Bonnie McFarlane was saying the other night, and we were all sitting out in front of the stand smoking and having some non-alcoholic drinks and just enjoying life. And she was saying every guy in America has 5 to 7 women who could Harvey Weinstein him, just wreck him. She goes, there's not a person who doesn't. And just she's saying that, David Tell comes up and he goes like this, is this what you guys talk about every week? And off he goes. He wanted to hear no part of it. But there is some truth to that thing that, men, probably most people aren't as bad as some of the guys that brought down. But we've just lost 3 powerful media guys.
Yeah.
In the last, half a year. Untouchable guys who got pulled down.
A partner on Charlotte had this really funny tweet, and this was just after the Weinstein news broke. And she was like, wow, little boys can be anything when you grow up. Sexual predator businessman, sexual predator president, stay-at-home sexual predator. It's like one of those things where it's just like they just keep coming out. We just keep on going, oh boy, someone else that we really respected or someone else in a position of power.
But even if you get past physicality, there's still immense lying, and little boys are taught that. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have game.
Right.
It's not like, dude, you gotta be truthful with women. You know what I mean? You gotta be truthful and respectful of women. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that, right? No, it doesn't happen that way. So, literally, and who was the girl that was in here that day that was screaming about it? Lisa Traeger's friend.
Annie Letterman?
Annie Letterman.
And when I tried to even, bridge that, there was none, just fucking have your sons. That's not going to change society. It's sometimes there has to be an educational aspect to this. And it's going to take generations to flush out. The pointing at all men thing is not as helpful as the people think. Considering, do you want to, live in 2 different countries, maybe? You know what I mean? Do we have man country and woman country? And as always, women are going to go, I like being groped. There's going to be certain women who say, I like being catcalled and I like being groped. These things, just like we're saying with the kneeling of the flag, it takes much longer than a weekend or 2. The gun stuff, much longer than a weekend or 2. And yet, I'm going to say this to the United States of America, you are not prepared to do the work. You are much too lazy to do the work to change these things and make this a better society and a better country. You're too busy pointing fingers. You're too busy screaming. You're too busy going, well, I'm not political anyway. I mean, we have the Pence thing over the weekend. Some people were happy about it. That was a planned, staged fucking thing, period. He knew they were going to do it. They did it. What do you gain? What have we gained from that? Has there ever really been, of all the hours of ESPN, have we ever really sat down and had an hour out of the hundreds of hours a week to say, here's some cops, here's some young black men, here's some ball players and coaches, and just slowly start to talk this stuff out? Never. We're not going to fucking do it. It's much easier to feel like they suck no matter which way you're pointing your fingers. Now, Jerry Jones, who did that whole stunt where he kneeled with his players a couple weeks ago, now says anybody who kneels won't be playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
But he did kneel, right?
Yes, he did kneel, but not during the anthem. He knelt before the anthem. So, again, kneeling doesn't solve anything. Not kneeling doesn't solve anything. And taking these political stands also solves next to nothing. And again, you look what happened with the shooting thing. Are we going to ever get to the bottom of anything? No. Rick Santorum brought up, hey, what about movies and video games, right? The other day. And of course, everybody's shouting him down. Why not look at movies and video games? Do we really even have a fucking idea what's wrong with this society and why we're so crazy violent all the time?
No.
No.
And in fact, like the conversation of after the shooting just kept being like, let's not make this political. When is the time to talk about it? They were acting like now's not the time. Now's the time to heal.
Right.
So
but what I'm saying is it's going to take a lot more than 5 minutes of saying it's the fucking whatever gun it is and being specific. But no, I'm not a gun guy. But I remember being very happy that Bruce Willis got a hold of those detonators and threw them down a fucking elevator shaft, right? In real life, that guy probably would have gone to fucking jail for putting everybody, But this is the kind of shit that we cheer for all the time. Is there something, I think if you have sane people, you could lay down machine guns in front of them and not worry that the room's going to get shot up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to have that concern. If you had sane people, you could have guns on a fucking plane. It wouldn't be a problem. At some place with the American people, there's borderline insanity. But this stuff takes real fucking time to pull it down. Just like you're saying that every first responder is a hero, is non-thinking. You know what I mean? Not every cop is a great hero. Ask cops if there's guys. Ask any cop, is there any guy that you work with who you feel like shouldn't be here? And he'd probably say yes. Same in the military. If you say that, hey, take a look around this 1,000 guys. Is there a couple guys that you think are a little psycho and aren't going to be able to ride out this experience? I think that you would hear yeah. And yet, we don't ever want to do that. We don't want to figure out. And for all I know, this fucking violent thing has been put into us since we were little kids. When you were watching cartoons. Like, oh, there's a way to fucking settle something. You know what I mean? Take a fucking hammer and hit the guy with it. Whatever it happens to be. I don't know. I'm saying if we're this freaked out by these problems, maybe we take a look at everything. And by the way, this isn't just like going to the moon or going to the Mars. This isn't a 2-week problem or a 2-year problem. It's a 20-year problem. But look at every great society that we've ever had. They've always looked to the future. You know what I mean? Everyone so in love with the founding fathers. It's because they were saying this is the way this whole thing's going to roll out long after we're gone. Teddy Roosevelt turned around and looked at wilderness, right? That was surrounded by wilderness and said, this wilderness is important for us to keep. He had the idea that people were going to fuck that out. Not during his lifetime. Not during the next generation or probably even the next generation. But he said, we've got to preserve this for future people. Do you ever even hear anyone talking about future generations?
No.
Does everyone ever worry about it all? We got this giant fucking deficit? No, because you can get voted out of the Congress right now on one bad vote and a bunch of fucking tweets against you. So those guys are much more manipulative because they have to be. They have to be to keep that shitty fucking seat.
But I think it's interesting what you said about just that we have to take the time to take a look at everything, even the stuff that if you feel strongly that it's not that issue. So if you're somebody who's like, hey, I think that, violent video games or violent movies don't beget violence. Like, I feel that way, right? Like, I've played violent video games and I've watched movies. It doesn't make me want to. But it's like, if we're going to solve something, let's take a look at everything. Even the stuff that you believe that you have a personal interest in. So if you love guns, you can't just be like, don't take away our guns. Let's just make sure that it's not. You know what I mean?
Well, first of all, to me, the least educated of us are the people who feel like they've known stuff just from their own perspective.
Right.
We're in a gigantic fucking problem in this country because people only see things from their own perspective. And when we can get out of that, when we can understand, well, Chris looks at the world this way, Vito looks and be able to do that 300 million fucking times, then we get to see where the nuts come from. But if you play video games and you like violent movies, right? If someone told you, if we get rid of these things, you're not going to have any more shootings, you would go, oh, I didn't know that's where it came from. Yeah. Everybody fucking likes candy, but now we've figured out that it's not all that good for you, and so you don't eat things that you like to eat because you know the long fucking term. But there's not anybody out there who doesn't like a fucking Oreo cookie. But if you saw an adult sitting here eating an Oreo cookie, you're like, what's with this dude?
Free country.
Fucking maniac. And it is free country, and you can make that move. But I'm saying for yourself. For yourself. By the way, I saw this on Hoda today. There's a mystery Oreo out. And if you can guess the flavor, $50K.
Whoa.
$50K.
Shit.
And I only know that from Hoda. Nothing else. No idea what else.
I want to give that a go. Not even just because of the money, but just because of the special Oreo. But do you think people, what do you think for the most part, the reaction to Pence orchestrating this
I think the people
show
who agreed with him are like, great. You know what I mean? Because it really was a protest by the vice president, which the president moments later tweeted out that he set it up or told him to do it, which is really ridiculous. It's just dumb and has nothing to do with anything. If I was a person who was aligned with Kaepernick, I'm like, look how they just try to turn everyone against us. And if I was aligned with Trump, I'd be like, yes, this is what everything. First of all, let's say this. Pence didn't pay for any fucking tickets to begin with, right? It's not the same thing as if Hard Rock Johnny walks out on a game.
Right.
It's silly. It's a waste of time. And it's the exact opposite of trying to unify this thing. It's trying to break it apart for your own reasons. That's my opinion. The same thing could be said about the people kneeling. They're not trying to unify us. No, they're not. They're trying to wake us up to something. I got in a discussion with a woman at the stand the other day, and she didn't even know why people knelt. She thought because they don't like this situation. I'm like, what's the situation, though, that they don't like? We don't even take the time to go, what was the initial thing about, or whether we agree or disagree. It's just, we're all just on social media spewing bullshit at each other all the time. So I mean, I see us heading fucking nowhere and nowhere fast.
Yeah, because some of the tweets that I saw about Pence certainly upset at just like the way that it was a show and how manipulative that is, and how, you know, that waste taxpayers' dollars to go fly out there to do this stunt. But everyone who wrote that, I guarantee, already disagreed with the Trump administration,
Absolutely.
already disagreed with Pence. So I would be more interested to say someone and go, look, I agree with the stance of I don't like people who kneel, but what I really don't like is being manipulated in that way. I'm interested to know, are those people out there who are like, I don't like the kneelers, but I also don't like being, you know, kind of manipulated or tricked to make this seem like it was real when it was really just a show.
All right. There's a guy who wrote to us. Violence is in our genetic makeup. We're animals. It'll never change. Yes and no. The fact of the matter is, it's a lot of people don't do things because it's against the law. They would love to. You know what I mean? But we don't have a purge night here. You know? So, yeah, I would say that most people do their best to maintain. Here's a guy who couldn't maintain, and he had the kind of weaponry to take out everybody else. This violence that he did wasn't like he punched somebody in a bar when they were drinking, which none of us condone, and at least all guys get to a certain point, and a lot of women understand how sometimes you're mad enough to punch somebody, but even that is against the law. So I'm just not going to buy into the fact that we're just violent. I mean, we don't want violent people to get a hold of fucking nukes. We didn't want that guy to launch a fucking nuke out of the window in Vegas. So there's things to this. Do Americans lose their shit? Absolutely. But again, I came up with a different generation than you guys did, when people used to fight first. They would fight first, where now people yell first or say something bad on social media. That's probably a step in the correct direction. I would also say this about violent movies or video games or football or MMA. Maybe it helps people blow off steam.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then it's a good thing. But we never have gotten to that point where we can agree whether any of this stuff is good or bad. Maybe the fact that the people of Chicago scream at the Green Bay Packers instead of going over there and fighting them is like fantastic. Here's a way to pretend war, play this thing
that's what
out.
Sports are.
Yeah, maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe they are. I don't know. I really don't know. At the end of the day, why sports are as important as they are. Because it used to be, well, sports are a deflection from the rest of our life. They're a timeout. But now ESPN and Fox Sports is 24 hours a day. That's fucking different. You know what I mean? The same could be said of porn. Porn wasn't available to you 24 hours a day just in the 90s. That was, you know what I mean? You couldn't just be like, you could be like, I got one porn tape. And I watch this thing sometimes late at night. You know what I mean? But it wasn't just like you're in a meeting at work and you're just going, all right, fat ass North Korean. Fat ass I hate the South Koreans. So yeah, all this stuff has changed because it's fucking readily available all the time to all of us. I mean, I'm sure if there were beer taps in here, we'd be drinking beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't think, just like for the same reason we haven't been to Mars yet, is because we didn't want to put in the work. We thought it was too costly. We thought it was too much work. We could have been to fucking Mars probably by the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
It's like if we go to Mars now, we're like, here's something we should have done decades ago. And now Trump's saying go back to the moon. You don't even see people freaking out about that. because we've already done it. We're trying to, it's almost like if you had lost weight and then you're trying to get back to that original weight. You're like, yeah,
right, that'd be good. I mean, even when I found out about it, I was like, I guess that'd be cool to see in my lifetime. I just kind of thought we were going to go to Mars.
I know.
But, you know,
You gotta, I wish
I mean, it is cool, but
and I would tell this to Neil deGrasse Tyson, everything's too far away. We really need closer goals. There should have been something that was like another hour past the moon. Right. You know what I mean? And then that had ducks on it, or it's like some kind of weird alien ducks. And then we would have kept doing stuff. But I mean, just look at what a movie in 1969 looked like, and look at what a movie looks like today. That's the kind of technology jumps we've had. Look what a TV set looked like in 1969, and what TV sets look like now. You could have it on your phone. You have one, and you're saying that those people got to the moon and not us? Fuck us. Fuck us for what we're doing. By the way, I saw over the weekend, going back to football, I think the only game this season that I actually enjoyed, and that was the Cowboys and Packers. That was like legitimately good, exciting.
Anything could happen towards the end.
I mean, it was just two teams playing really great. A lot of times we think a shitty game that comes down to, you know, the last play is a great game, but it's not. This was literally a great game, and Dallas had the ball with 8 minutes left, and they were like, we have to score a touchdown, but we have to do it so Aaron Rodgers can't come back because he'll score a touchdown right away. And they took 7 minutes in a football game, which is really tough to do, and to score a touchdown left him with a minute, and everything that they worried about was true. And it was really it was really great play on both sides. And I know Eagles fans are celebrating right now, but a Dallas team looks good to me, and the Packers team looks like the best team of football right now. So somehow the NFL has let us down. There was a thing going on about the most popular sports, and NFL was like way down the list. I'm like, first of all, this study is bullshit.
Yeah, that can't be true.
No, baseball was number one. Now you can go to any baseball game any fucking time in this country, any given night.
Yeah, so what is this based on? By popularity? How?
Just asking people on the street. Yeah. And it's another reason why polls, you know what I mean? Like with Trump, like a lot of people who voted for Trump didn't want to say so. They did not want to say, I'm voting for that guy that my friends thinks is a racist and a lunatic. So they just went like this. I don't know how I'm voting, probably Hillary. And then they went in and voted for Trump. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they said they were going to vote third party, and they went in and voted for Trump. People were afraid to say shit in public because people could end up asking them 2 or more questions. And that's the last thing that they want to hear. So yeah, there's no way baseball is the most. I think it goes football, basketball, baseball, hockey.
It's got to.
Yeah, and I don't even know where you put. Yeah, probably soccer dead last. Although after Friday night, we kicked mighty Panama's ass 4-0, and now we just have to take down Jen and the heathens of Trinidad Tobago, which I've already called my local congressman and said, no way these two islands should be able to gang up against us. Who are they, Alpha and Sika? You know what I'm saying, Vito? Who were Alpha and Sika?
I don't know.
Samoans, the wild Samoans.
Oh, fuck.
You try to tell everybody that you are wrestling boy. You told me to buy you a shirt that said wrestling boy.
You did say that.
Yeah. You had such a great special. Okay? Such a great special. And then here's the problem with like giving anybody a compliment. So I tell him, great special, Vito. It was a lot of fun. Comedy department loved it. People down the hall loved it. And it was fun for Gail and I. And now all weekend I'm getting texts. What about disabled comedians? What about left-handed comedians? And I'm like, just let this one breathe a little bit. Yeah.
We'll get to all of that, I guess.
You just can't try to put all these comedians in their tiny little place.
I'm just trying to organize them all.
He honestly said to me, Sicilian comedians, is it enough?
That is too specific.
I'd rather go with Crete, the island of Crete.
They're down the list.
I think that we could actually end up getting a sponsorship from Crete and Barrel on that. So, yeah, we're going to have more problems. We're going to have race problems, we're going to have sex problems, and we're going to have violence problems. And we're not going to the moon or Mars. I'm telling you that, right? I know us.
Wish we could do at least one of those.
You'd have to want to, and you'd have to be willing to work for it. And no one is. Except for me and one other guy, friend of mine.
Maybe the two of you can get us to Mars.
I can't right now. I don't have enough years behind me. Chris, you sent a story saying that there was a bomb of an opening, even though $30 million came in for Blade Runner. You feel that's way too small.
Well, the studios are saying we were expecting $50 million. So when it got like the $13 million, I think between Thursday and Friday, they were like, "This looks bad," and then they're calling it a giant bomb, and they're trying to blame that because it was too long, because it was like almost 3 hours. I don't understand it.
Well, that would make a lot of sense because you don't get as many runs a day. If you make a movie that's like an hour and 20 minutes, people are like, you can show that movie a lot more than you can show the 3 hour movie.
I don't think it's one of those things where people are staying away because of it.
Well,
do you even check the run? Like, I don't even think to check a runtime before I go see
I've never once checked a runtime. I saw a TV show where a guy writes down every runtime when it happens, and when it doesn't, this was at the museums that show, classic movies. He goes and reports it. He said, "You had this down as an hour and 45 minutes. It's an hour and 46:20." And they're like, "Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I'm glad you enjoyed the movie." But it's like an obsession of his. But I don't know whether you guys know this. When Blade Runner came out, it didn't do well. It was a flop movie.
Right. That's like a cult classic situation where, as the years went by, people started to be like, "We appreciate and love it."
It's a great movie. And I remember seeing Blade Runner in the theater and being like, "What is happening? Is this real?" But you saw the movie, Chris?
I did see it this weekend.
And Gail, you saw it as well?
I did see it this weekend.
I wanted to see it this weekend, and my weekend was filled. Chris fucked me over with a couple things, and you know what they are. Where you jam my schedule. And the day that I was planning on seeing it, I couldn't. But I'm glad the person who jammed my schedule was able to get out there and enjoy it.
Oh, no.
I feel like we both went. What day did you go?
I went Saturday.
Saturday night?
Saturday during the day, because everything else was sold out.
Did you? Now, if everything's sold out, how is it a bomb of a movie?
I saw it late on a Sunday night, which usually tends to be
all alone.
Oh, yeah, a little more quiet. Totally packed, not an empty seat in the whole place. I'm like, how is it a bomb?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Let me get your Rotten Tomatoes reviews right now. And would you give it a favorable or unfavorable?
This is a fresh review, favorable for Blade Runner 2049.
Would you have it? And Gail?
So favorable. So fresh.
All right, back to Chris. This is how I'm going to do movie reviews in the future. I'm going to have two critics.
Okay.
And just ask them the tiniest questions.
Okay.
So we're reinventing everything for the millennials.
Okay.
Favorite movie of the year, Chris?
100%, yes.
100%.
Yeah, favorite movie, best movie of the year.
Wow.
And you didn't see Baby Driver, right?
I did not see Baby Driver.
Okay, that makes it easier.
I will tell you, I did see Baby Driver.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed this movie experience more than Baby Driver.
Wow,
and I really liked
you love Baby Driver.
And I really liked Baby Driver and had a whole week in which I opened the show with songs from Baby Driver.
Now that week seems like idiots. Like we're the biggest morons ever.
Yeah, I was so surprised because I love Blade Runner. So I was like, this could be a very bad situation, but I'm willing to check it out. And I thought, for one of these circumstances in which you're like worried it's going to go into that whole nostalgia thing where we bring things back because we just love I thought that it was handled so well, so made so much sense of the reality of that movie and where it has moved into.
I don't even have time to see it tonight. feel like working with Chris. I'd be better off hanging myself.
No, don't.
You do have to block off some time for it because it is lengthy. It is a lengthy. And I'm going to tell you, it was a very, I've never been in a more like antsy movie theater. Like people just kept getting up and they just seemed like
3 hours is like taking a flight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People were really antsy and people would just get up. Like you don't see this a lot, but this happened multiple times where it was like a mid-movie get-up, and then that person comes back with popcorn. You don't see that a lot.
No.
Like, maybe one person does that, and you're like, that guy's kind of weird. But I would say a solid 15 people got up and got, like, a mid-movie snack and came back.
Should I get 2 bags of popcorn, just put one lightly on the floor and ignore it?
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Back to 100%.
100% fresh review for 2 popcorns.
I did see at the Alamo Draft House the first time I ever went there.
No, isn't that where the rapist works?
Oh, I'm not sure. But that was it was a weird experience because I found I would miss something because I was looking at the fucking food menu because you have a food menu in front of you and you can just order. You know, it's like a full restaurant.
And then you have a table.
Yeah,
you're sitting at a table, not at a.
There's a table, yeah, and then you like write what you want on a card, and then someone just like scurries over and grabs it and then brings you your food.
How do they know that you wrote it?
Oh, because you can put it up. Like there's a pad and then there's a place to put the note in, and then someone just literally scurries, hunched down, scurrying in the dark, grabs it, and then goes back. Goes to the back.
Distracting.
It is a little distracting.
I feel like everyone should get their orders in early, and then we should be done with that. That can't be mid.
They're ordering the entire time.
Did you get wings? I heard their wings are really good.
No, I got a cheeseburger.
You're eating a cheeseburger at a film.
It was an option. I was
I'm
like,
going to be
all right.
honest, Chris. I've seen you eat a cheeseburger not in the dark, and you get it all over yourself.
I did somehow. And fucking irony was lost on me.
Also, no one eats faster than you do. So I don't see how long a cheeseburger is going to last you. Were you there with your girlfriend?
Yes, I was, yes.
Did you still feel with the table and the food in front of you could make out during the movie?
There was a big divider there that you couldn't put up. So I was like, come on.
Between the two of you?
Yeah.
What? Because you normally like to like FB during it, or what?
No, we're not making out.
That's not what that means, but
He thought. Why would you even risk it, Chris?
I'll throw it out there.
Now, did you get trailers with the 3 hours, or did they go right into the movie?
I got trailers.
oh
See,
yeah,
I don't want a
got
trailer.
Not only did I get trailers, this theater fucked up and started the movie 25 minutes late. So it was 25 minutes late, and we're like, this is ridiculous. People had to go downstairs and be like, it still hasn't started. They finally get the thing started. Then we sit through like a solid 15 minutes of trailers,
Yeah, there was a ton of trailers in front of mine, too.
which is probably why everyone was so damn antsy and had to get snacks mid-movie.
And doesn't Alamo do like special trailers too?
I don't know if there were special trailers.
What's a
There's got some
special trailer?
So like at Alamo, they like if like for one movie, they'll like for Baby Driver, they did like special like things before the trailers to like make the
What?
experience
What?
different. I didn't see
What,
it
like
there.
vibrating seats or something? What are you talking
No,
about?
no,
What are
like
you talking about, Vito?
If my seat started vibrating, I would have walked out.
They don't.
You
do
would have
vibrating
fucking
seats.
ended up staying there for a while till you came.
I did go to a 4D movie with vibrating seats once, and it was a pretty intense experience.
But you bring up this thing
Yeah,
about
what
Alamo.
is the special
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
don't know.
know.
I haven't been
Trailer.
there. I just heard about it. But they do like a special package where they do like different. They don't do typical movie trailers. They put together a package based on the movie you're seeing.
You're not even making sense. So, like, if we seen Baby Driver, there'd be baby supply stores. Is that it? What are you talking about?
Like there was a movie, there was an '80s movie, and like they showed a bunch of like '80s commercials before. The
Yeah, well,
movie.
this
Yeah,
isn't
this is
the
a real
80s. This is a
movie.
real fucking movie. You're not trying to make 80s night.
So that's what I
Chris,
was.
I'm sorry. You are right about him.
Thank
I
you.
thought he was terrific. Because
I felt bad that he
He's
was
not.
ratted on, but now I don't.
Yeah, good. Everyone rat him out. Everyone.
Are you going to the comedy meeting tomorrow?
It's bi-monthly, so next week.
Why even bother having a meeting if it's going to be bi-monthly? A meeting every 2 weeks? What's that prove?
Too much happens in 2 weeks.
Oh. First of all, I'd have to reintroduce myself every single time. Well, I don't know if I met you. I'm Ron. Nice to see you.
Just feel like we're not able to get close because we don't see each other enough.
Yeah. A guy introduced himself to me the other night, and I said, I'm Ron. And he goes, yeah, I know. I go, now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's weird for someone to say their name.
No, I've meet celebrities before, and they still say their name when they
Yes.
put their
Okay,
hand
good.
out.
Thank you.
This is a thing that people do.
Thank you.
It's totally fine.
Particularly when somebody introduces themselves.
And wouldn't it be way worse to be presumptuous? Like, if we were like, clearly you know I'm Ron.
I should have been like that. Let's introduce yourself to me.
Hi, I'm Gail.
Well, I'm sure you're very familiar with my work. My lasting work. The other night at the stand, I got a bit of intrigue with some of the comedians by saying, "Hey, which comedian you think could end up being a shooter?"
Okay.
And that had everybody going like this. Well, this is good.
Very interesting.
This is interesting. Yeah. Now, if you had to go here, who do you think would be a shooter?
Out of the whole show, my guess would be Chris Stanley.
See, that's the obvious thing, but I think that he lets off steam by snapping so much.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the type of person,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, that would sit around and contemplate. Although he is a grudge holder, he's the only one
He
of
is-
us I say is a long-term grudge holder.
He is a grudge holder, so it might be something that's been bothering him underneath it all. That's why I think, like, yeah, he does snap every once in a while.
But I also know how he puts together projects. So I could see him in the tower and forgetting the ammo and just throwing a fucking F-16 down at the audience.
I always thought Dan Spaventa was up to something.
Well, you started that nickname for him, and I just don't think it was right.
Active shooter Dan.
I think just the opposite, you know.
He's not killing anyone.
He's Machiavellian. There's no doubt about that. Jane in Houston wants to try to help Vito explain himself. Go ahead, Jane.
Hey.
Yeah.
So, like, we went to see the movie Ted at the Alamo, and, you know, Mark Wahlberg and little teddy bear, and they smoked pot in the movie the whole time. So the Alamo had put together these, like, super retro pot smoking, like, commercials, and then threw in some old anti-drug commercials from, like, the 80s.
Okay, so
And they
that's
showed those before the trailers.
okay before the trailer. So if you show up at a normal time,
Okay.
so you're getting extra entertainment, not more trailers.
Gotcha.
It's like the
Okay.
15 or whatever.
Right.
The 20?
It's just
The
like
Regal
Disney
20.
stuff that they do.
Yes, the 20. And the only thing that I ever like is I'm really good at movie house trivia because it's the easiest stuff ever. It's like they'll play like the Hangman game, and it'll be Gary Goer, and I could yell Cooper. Why did I say G instead of C? I just fucked myself up. But it's very easier stuff.
All right. I would assume that everybody here is, once the movie starts, zero talking, correct?
Yes.
I mean, like, I think
Zero.
all of us are that type.
We invented the thumbs up, thumbs down
Yes.
system.
So, as your movie experience progresses, you get there, let's say house lights are still up, and it's like not trailers, but ads.
Yes.
What is it talking? What's
Talking
the-
all you want, being on the phone, enjoying yourself.
Right. Volume of talking, totally,
Whatever.
doesn't really matter.
It's like if you're in the lobby of a hotel.
Now, when does it change? Trailer, is that totally silent? Is
Yes.
that whispers?
I don't talk during trailers because I know some people enjoy.
During trailers, I turn to the person next to me and I go, I'd see that.
But in a whisper?
In a small
Dude,
whisper.
just do what we do. Thumb up, thumb down, and you have the same experience, right? Of like, thumb up is do you want to see it? Thumb down, don't.
Don't.
If you're one of these, like, I'm not sure, then
Thumbs
why am I
middle.
saying it?
Sometimes they call it thumbs
Why am I saying something with you?
Okay.
Now, once you master that, you have to get a correct rapport where
Right.
you like start to understand. But then, if a really shitty trailer comes up, instead of just going the obvious thumbs down, you do two
Double
thumbs
thumb, yeah.
and like act like it looks so good.
Yeah.
And usually, when you see two thumbs, you know that person's being sarcastic with their thumbs up.
Right, that means that we're not going to that movie under any circumstances. I don't think I've been to a movie since Baby Driver. This is how much I hate movies now and how disappointed.
I saw it in between Baby Driver.
And you love that too, right?
I did. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I don't like being scared, but
And yet you went to a horror movie.
I know.
Clowns.
Like I tried
It was a favor.
Here's the thing, and I'll say this to you, America. the United States of America, too. So don't think that any of you are left out. And Canada. I'm saying this to North America. Why do you go to horror films? And Dana Gould, who's got a kind of a campy horror TV thing on IFC, we're going to him on this next Unmasked. And he couldn't explain it himself. He tried to for a second. And I think it's like same as devil worshippers. Like they're so scared of the devil, they start to dress as the devil. I don't like the feeling of fear. I don't like the idea of women being slashed. I don't go to see Saw. I don't like...
I will see no slasher type movie. The only ones I will do are like the paranormal, and even then I'm not enjoying myself because I'm scared.
Right.
And then there are a couple classics that I would say that is a good movie, despite the fact that it's not my favorite genre. Like The Shining is a great movie, but it's scary to me.
Right.
So I don't like feeling scared.
The Shining I do watch because it's Kubrick. But I'm even after seeing it a lot of times, I'm really weirded out by the isolation of it all. And I'm sure that if I was from that area, people would go like this. There's a gas station 3 miles from there. I don't know what everyone's talking about. You know what I mean? There's a pizza place that takes 40 minutes instead of 30. Because like After Hours was on, the Marty Scorsese movie from the 80s. And I'm watching it the other night. It was on like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, why doesn't he just walk to the Village? He could have walked to Midtown. I mean, you could walk easily from Soho to Midtown in hour and a half.
Yeah.
Why is he acting like he's stranded in Soho? It was starting to make me fucking bananas.
Yeah, that's not even that long of a walk.
But he was...
It's very doable.
And this is what happened. This is what they do with you in movies. They act like there's no way out of this. How do they even do slasher films now or Women Stuck at Home now when... You know, they just cut Wi-Fi service?
They have to have tricks for that all the time. Is like, oh, their phone just died, or the killer gets the phone or crushes the phone or something like that. They have to explain now why a person wouldn't just reach in their pocket and be like, I'm up in the attic and downstairs there's a guy who's very scary.
Just have a group text in the whole house.
Let's go over here to our buddy Charlie. What's up?
What's going on, Ron and B? Ron and B, we were watching La La Land the first time the other day. You know, you got the big screen, the whole thing. And my friend's over the house, and we're watching the movie, and she starts texting during the movie and never seen it. Now, do I have a right to get pissed off at that?
Absolutely. Particularly since you set it up as movie night.
Yeah.
Now, what I will do if someone starts to talk during a movie, even a movie I've seen before, I pause the movie and I turn to them and I go, what? And then I put the movie back on. And I feel like that shows what I'm trying to do here. Because some people...
That makes it clear.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm going to hear Jack Nicholson's a good actor. Okay?
Just wanted to say he's so good.
He's really good, isn't he? You'd swear he belongs in a cuckoo's nest. That Jack Nicholson. Now, who was he dating? I also know people who look up IMDb
while the movie's
on.
That's afterwards.
And try to tell you where you know that person from. Because I'm at the age now that every face looks familiar. It's a very sad and scary place to be. You know what I mean? I don't remember being a teenager going, where do I know that receptionist from?
Because you've just seen too many faces.
I've seen too many faces, yeah. I've seen a million faces and I've rocked them all. Just like Bon Jovi.
I mean, how infrequent is it now that you see a face and go, nobody looks like that, dude.
No one I've ever met looks like that person.
I mean, where are you from? What's your background?
No, first time I saw Charlie Day, I'm going, see from my old neighborhood? Charlie Day, the Day family. Does he know Benny Day?
Another thing that is certain types of people who watching a movie for the first time will start to ask plot questions.
Oh,
like my boyfriend's mom, if you watch a movie with her, like 5 minutes in, is like, okay, so how does he know her? Well, we don't know yet. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know the relationship, but that's definitely going to get probably cleared up in the next half hour. We're still in the beginning stages of this film, and we don't know where everyone's from and how their relationships work yet.
But I have fallen into this, and I'm the last probably to do this, because movies do seem too long for most people. It's easier for me to binge watch a television series than it is to sit for a 2-hour movie.
I was thinking that with all of these antsy people in the theater, and I go, I know you all binge watched Orange is the New Black and sat there for 6 hours. Were you really getting up this much? No, you probably sat through the whole thing. Is it because it's movie theater seats? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they were so antsy in there.
It's odd, because I was probably in my chair yesterday 12 straight hours.
You were just sitting there like, I pee yet today?
No, I'll just pee in a cup, chuck it out the window.
I'm comfortable.
And I'm like, honey, the pee cup, where is it? But I'm different during a movie. You know what I mean? I'm different during a movie. So excited about your eggs?
Very, very excited. Very hopeful. And just trying to enjoy it the way it is. That's what I'm trying to promote right now.
I think I went from, I don't know. I'll just say this. They're playing like a good team.
They're playing like a good team.
That's it.
This is the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want to have any expectations of that. You want to enjoy it. But sometimes there is a nervous thing that happens in my house when they're doing well. That there's like, then they could turn around and hurt you with that. Whereas if they're just stinking, they can't hurt you. They just are what they are.
There's some truth to that. Like Big Ben threw those 2 picks, threw the game away yesterday. But if you're a Steelers fan, you're like, believe me, I know. We get to the playoffs, we're going to win this thing. You know what I mean? Because the only thing they've had is, and look, even Giants fans, they're 0-5, right? These people aren't crushed because they've had some championship seasons in their past.
Right.
And they believe there's going to be championship seasons in their future. People in Philly, Cleveland, Detroit, they know what pain is. The people in Jacksonville, you haven't even been around long enough, okay? Get your hopes up this season. Enjoy yourself this season. You're on top of the AFC South, that fucking powerhouse. But, I mean, you don't sit around and act like Roethlisberger's a bum. He won you 2 fucking Super Bowls. Took you to 2 others. Same with Eli Manning. You know, he took you there. Now, the Giants pretty much gave away the game, right? That's a game that they should have won. The Philadelphia game turned out to be a moonshot. And the Bucks game came down to only 1 field goal. They're basically in these games.
Mm-hmm.
They could be like a 3-2 team where you're like, oh, this looks like, but this is how it happens. You don't know what's going to fucking, you know, a couple of plays a game and your entire season could be shot. Dog pisser, fucking his ankle, which I immediately heard from someone that he's faking.
Yeah, no, someone was saying that, he's just trying to get time off the clock or whatever. But no, he's had an MRI. He's went to surgery yesterday, from what I read.
And yet, a person, and I'd love to tell you who it is, but he doesn't want to live a public life, said he and the Giants together. I go, what's in it for the Giants? You know what I mean?
They're working together on this?
Yes, they're working together. They feel like their season's shot. And why not? And I go, well, they could rest him. They could just say, we're resting him. Nobody could get mad at you for resting somebody who you're saying his ankle isn't ready. It's just a bad strain. The reason why his ankles, they kept fucking putting him out until finally he's fucking, but, you know, at least we won't have to see the dog piss again.
Yeah. I kind of miss it.
Which you think would have annoyed Trump, but that didn't.
Mm-mm.
But, you know, how many quarterbacks is there even to care about? You know what I mean? Like, there's only, out of 32 teams have quarterbacks, is there like 8 that you're like, oh, this guy is a winner? You know what I mean?
No, because, like, all right, there's like Brady and Eli and Rivers, and they're all getting older. Then no one from the young guys has really established themselves, and Luck hasn't even played yet this season.
Well, Luck is fucking, he seems to be, you know.
Yeah. What do people think about Wentz who aren't just Eagles fans? What is the buzz outside of
It looks like
Eagle Nation.
It looks like he has it together. I mean, but you can't tell.
But like, are people talking about him like the way Ron just said? How many quarterbacks do people care about? Is he on their radar?
No, well, here's the thing. He's a rising young comedian, right? He's a rising young athlete. You're going to put him in the same place that you would put, and everybody that Chris mentioned, Aaron Rodgers was at that place for a while, but you're only really tested on how you play in the playoffs.
Right.
And he doesn't have any playoffs yet. He's only a second-year guy. But I think if any team had him, they're like, oh, I have good feelings about this guy.
Right.
But you're not. I mean, you looked at Aaron Rodgers yesterday, and you're like, that motherfucker needs to and wants to win. He's kind of crazy. And you look at Brady the same way. Now, do you still look at Roethlisberger that way, Chris, or is too many years gone by?
I think a lot of years have gone by, and even in the last few years, like he's much worse on the road. And I think it's the mystique's gone, I think, as make him an elite quarterback. But every now and then he'll throw 500 yards, but it's not consistent.
So he could beat you, but you're not concerned. If you're playing the Steelers, you're not concerned.
Yeah, because I think more often than not, the worst Roethlisberger will show up.
I'm less rough on him than you are. I'm less rough on Eli than most people are. To me, you're at a certain point where like you've proven yourself to the game, and both those guys I've got going in the Hall of Fame. I also have Wentz going in the Hall of Fame, just on what he's done. Here's Alan in Kentucky. Alan, once, twice.
Hey, Ronnie, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, dude. Hey, it's funny you mentioned the can't recommend or recognize the actors. I'm the same age. Everyone knows like the famous people. They go back and they see they're acting these commercials, but still there's people in commercials that are like character actors in movies. It's like the fucking guy, but they're still in movies anyway. It's that's part of why you recognize so many people.
Well, yeah, that's true. And also
the commercials.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, commercials, I mean, I watch less, but TV tends to use the same people too.
Yeah.
Especially as second and third tier, performers where you're just like, oh, she was the secretary on that show. Now she's the sister,
Exactly. And I think one of the types that I get mixed up with is just like, pretty young girl in their early 20s, and you're like, oh, I've seen her in something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a TV show or if it was a different movie. But she's pretty, but she's young.
But
she's like one of those girls.
Kenny Powers' ex-girlfriend in Eastbound and Down has probably done 4 or 5 series since then, and you're just like, man, you hear about all the people that are in Hollywood trying to make it, and some people just seem like they get shot after shot after shot. You never see like a cast of all new people in something. Bo in Colorado.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm driving from Tucson to Telluride.
All right. No one asked. Well, all right. Thank you for that.
And I saw Blade Runner. I need to hold on. Let me get off the speaker. One moment.
Okay. I was, and he literally hung up, and he was holding so long.
We do know where he's headed to, though, right?
Yeah, where he comes from. I don't know whether he thought he was checking in with Central Office. What was happening there?
Is this dispatch?
I wonder if he liked Blade Runner.
We'll never know. He saw it, and he's on his way to Telluride.
Somebody wrote in that Roethlisberger has lost his good team. Brady has been in and out of being on a good team over the years and finds a way to still stay an elite quarterback, whether you like him or don't like him. And I'll say this, and I brought it up yesterday to people. The thing about the Cowboys is they've stayed pretty hateable because they're in the mix, but they're not the champions they were throughout the 90s and the 70s, yet they've stayed somewhat hateable. There's certain teams that you want to beat in every sport. I still think in football, you want to beat the Cowboys every time that you play them. Now that they're good, it makes the stakes even higher. They've decided that they hate the Packers and Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers has played very good there. And Aaron Rodgers loves it. He's like, this is great. This is the kind of, yeah, of course.
Right.
You want the other team to hate you. You want the other fans to hate you because that's a respectful thing.
The Yankees are that for baseball, right?
Yes, the Yankees will always be that for baseball.
Who is that for basketball?
Well, it's going to depend on Lakers or Celtics, even though neither one of them is great now. Throughout time,
Right.
that was it. So I kind of like them. I don't have a hate on a personal level. I probably would rather beat the Celtics because I'm an East Coast guy. But my team beats the Lakers. I'm still fucking happy.
Right.
Poor Jay's already trying to sell me on the Sixers again this season.
He does every year.
I know. He's a homie. You gotta
Yes.
love that about him. Brian, Pittsburgh. Brian.
Hey, Bennington, how you doing?
Good.
So I think that Pittsburgh fans have just this massive inferiority complex against New England. I mean, the success that Roethlisberger's had is incredible. So it's not like he's going to get tossed aside, but we always compare him to Brady, and it's insane because he's not in that level.
Well, the thing about Roethlisberger is Pittsburgh never was a real passing team. You know, they were always run first. He used to run a lot when he was younger, and then also, you know, the rape allegations. So he's never going to get the golden boy thing. He's never.
There is that.
And just the other day where he said some stuff where his team was mad at him, he doesn't seem like he's a great leader. Really tough guy, though. Hall of Famer, in my opinion. You agree, Chris, or are you going to be tough on him?
I'm going to be tough on him just for the last, 7 seasons.
Not Hall of Fame because of that?
No, I mean, not Hall of Fame because of
No
that.
Hall of Fame.
No Hall of Fame for Ben Roethlisberger.
Are you keeping Eli out of the Hall of Fame?
Eli goes to the Hall of Fame.
He goes to the Hall of
He
Fame.
goes to the Hall of Fame. He beat a 19-0 team.
No, he beat well, first of all, they didn't go 19-0.
Or 18-0.
Yeah. But Roethlisberger's been there more than Eli has. Vito, what about for you? You're not a Giants fan, you're a Jets fan. Eli go to the Hall of Fame.
I think they both go to the Hall of Fame because also I think the NFL, like the Hall of Fame is a lot easier to get into than other sports.
Well, there's no doubt about that, particularly for a quarterback.
Yeah, like it's two Super Bowl rings. I don't think I think you're getting into the Hall of Fame no matter what.
There is one that hasn't, Jim Plunkett.
Okay.
And his parents were blind. And if that shouldn't put you in the Hall of Fame, I don't know what does. But Jim Plunkett, not in the fucking Hall of Fame. Joe Namath in the Hall of Fame. Kenny Stabler from the Raiders is in the Hall of Fame. How do you not put Jim Plunkett in the Hall of Fame? It was ridiculous to me, but, you know, I tend to... but he wasn't a flashy guy, too. He wasn't good with the stick, as they say,
And then
in the game.
how do they, what is the decision? It's obviously stats and what else?
Well,
Just
it's-
opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's like their effect on the game. I mean, it's always just going to be opinion, no matter... Stats doesn't really count for everything because you could have a great season or two.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you could have done something miraculous, but then it's up to the people. It's always going to be opinion. It's an opinionated thing, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which we've never gotten around to talking about the people that are nominated this year. We should try to pick our own Hall of Fame. See, they made it worse by letting too many people in. I like a Hall of Fame the way Vito does, like with baseball, where it's incredibly hard to get into the fucking Baseball Hall of Fame.
And then it makes it all the more sweeter when your
It makes it
band...
precious, yeah.
Yeah, when your band gets in.
When they announce like the Cooperstown, it's because like there's some years where they don't put anybody in.
Nobody goes in.
Oh,
That's what
really?
they said. There's nobody that's gotten enough the pre-votes to
Oh, wow.
even go in. And I kind of like that. I really do.
And then when your players get in, it feels like a huge moment. You're that much more excited. Like when Piazza went in,
Yeah.
it was fucking awesome. And like Mets fans are really excited about it. And then like Griffey, like that was awesome to see. It's a fun. I love the Baseball Hall of Fame.
The other thing was, like, when I went to Cooperstown, I immediately went looking for Michael Jack Smith. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, where's Schmitty at? So I just wanted to see the Phils thing. There's nothing. I mean, it's basically just a weird fucking Batman from the 1960s bust that you pull the head back, and there's not enough to be thrilled about. And I'd be like, he's in the fucking Hall of Fame. I felt like Philadelphia got into the Hall of Fame. But when we went to the Football Hall of Fame, I was more interested in seeing like old cleats and helmets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Than standing in front of any certain thing.
I liked the Bucks highlight reel. That's my favorite part.
Because only Leroy Selman was in there at that time that we went. And we were very happy to see his one little... He actually tackled somebody once, so they had to put him in. People were saying that Chris Stanley is trolling.
Not trolling.
Because of the Roethlisberger thing?
Saying that there's nobody in the world who says that Eli Manning is a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger. And then Chris just does his New York-centric thing.
Look,
that's your New York values.
He's not going to make it. Roethlisberger isn't going to make it in because, like you said, Namath has one, he got in. Eli beating that team is the flash he needs to get in.
That doesn't keep Roethlisberger out. You could be like Vito.
But Roethlisberger also has the rape charge. I think that
he never had a rape charge. There was a rumor. There was never a charge.
There wasn't. I thought he actually went to court over it and it was proven wrong.
Maybe you should look that up before you go around saying stuff like that. Either way, if you're saying it was proven wrong and he's innocent, that would be the same as if he's an innocent man. I remember you crying when OJ went to the Hall of Fame going, we did it.
Meant a lot to
Did you guys see SNL the other night?
I watched just up to Weekend Update, so I didn't see the
OJ sketch, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
I thought it was real funny. Yeah. And I heard from a friend of mine, not funny.
Really? I thought it was very cute.
They said to me the other night, nothing was really funny except for Weekend Update. Weekend Update is back to being the jewel of that show.
I know. It really moved in that direction. Remember, when they first started, people were hard on them, wasn't sure if they had the chemistry for it.
They wanted that show out. Yeah. Here's a man who's been to the Hall of Fame before. Were you there when Piazza went in, Johnny?
No, I was not.
Oh, I thought that you went with those guys, but you didn't get to sit as close as Eddie Trunk.
No.
When I watched Piazza at the Hall of Fame, I could see Eddie Trunk the whole time on TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
Giant head.
Yes, the head's large.
A lot of rock and roll knowledge in there.
Yeah, there is. That was about the rock. We salute you. Were you calling about Hall of Fame, or you wanted to discuss the Thanksgiving show?
No, Hall of Fame is good. I mean, I would, as a Giant fan, I still think that Ben is a better quarterback than Eli, despite 5 interceptions yesterday.
That's insane. Eli's the better quarterback, Johnny.
You're not basing that on anything. You're not basing it on anything more than one season where the defense led the way.
But Eli won that game. The defense got them there.
The Giants won the game.
The Giants did win the game. If that and a fucking crazy catch from the future, you know what I mean? I'm just being totally honest. There's a team that you'd expect to score 30 and didn't. You know what I mean? So you can't act like Eli did that on his own.
No, and Eli, honestly, he should have. Maybe he gets one of the MVP trophies. I think Justin Tuck should have had the other, but that's just looking at it, from I guess revisionist history. But Eli has lost more games for the Giants than he's won for the Giants. Let's face it. And I love him to death. He's my ride or die quarterback. I don't care, but he's probably lost more games than won for the Giants.
And that's also on the Giants organization for not getting him a goddamn running back or an offensive line.
Look, you're sounding like a guy calling a sports show rather than a regular guy. I think that you're just trying to troll right now.
I'm not trying to troll. I'm not a troll.
Well, you wouldn't have said something like, and that's also on the organization. Anyway, thanks for letting me call Mad Dog. You know what I'm saying? Do you see where you went with that? You weren't like a regular person.
Good afternoon, Chrissy. You can't. It's that. You can't make that argument, Chris. I'm sorry.
Well, I have, and I think you're wrong.
This is the way you're sounding.
I have.
The stone dullness of the way you're saying it. All right, Johnny. Talk to you later, buddy.
Later.
Peace.
Bye, Johnny.
Hey, Mike in LA. Mike, we got you, pal?
Better.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, does he watch football?
Yes,
You don't think Ben Roethlisberger's a Hall of Famer? That's funny, dog.
Don't call me dog.
Now I know you're trying to troll.
Your ability to comment on football, man. That's terrible.
Let me
don't
tell
think
you
Ben
something about Chris
Roethlisberger-
Stanley. Most of the time on Sundays, he's at a brunch.
I was at a brunch yesterday.
Yeah. So how are you going to act like you understand the game and you're brunching?
You're drunk on mimosas, dude.
Dog.
Yeah, dog. See?
I didn't know I'm called dog now.
You haven't made a single point that makes sense at all, other than one single year for the Giants. You're not even getting them. Eli beat Brady another time. You're not even bringing that to your defense. You know why?
Why is that?
Because if I'm going to come to you about what is a good syrup to put on a fluffy French toast with pumpkin fucking spices on it, I'll be like, yeah, Chris Stanley's my guy to go to. If I'm going to go to football, I'm going to go to Johnny. I'm going to go to Vito. I'm going to probably go to your Costa Rican girlfriend. Anybody but you. Because you're a troll. A troublemaking troll.
I don't live underneath the bridge. I'm not trolling. In that first Super Bowl, Roethlisberger was basically a rookie. Was he, like 1 year in? His defense got him there as well.
He was not a rookie. It was his second year. Everybody has to have a good team. There's no doubt about it. But you have to be the quarterback of that good team. Period. The guy has been to 4 Super Bowls. He's won 2. He's going into the Hall of Fame. No matter what you and the ladies of brunch think about this, he's going into the Hall of Fame. And I don't think to myself, I'm having eggs. I wish I had a side of pork chop. Bacon, sausage, and ham are plenty for me. I don't need a cheeseburger and pancakes together. That's a sickness.
It's also a troll.
It's a troll. Thank you very much.
No, it's not.
You're the fucking Pence.
You
of
are.
sports this is why we can't get on a sports station. I think all they do is troll, though, right? Isn't that their thing? That they just troll their audience?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They'll be like, I think the Jets should have to be forced to leave New York. April 4th.
What?
By the way, fucking Vito, who calls himself a Jets fan, counted them out before the season, said that they were going to lose every game. They're 3-2 right now. They're in the fucking mix.
Yeah,
and you haven't let yourself even enjoy a moment of it.
Every time they win, I get annoyed that they won, and I even look at it now that the Giants are better at losing than us. Just because, like, I know it's not going to go anywhere. Like, I'm not going to let myself get excited because they're also not a team where, like, if they got into the playoffs, I also don't see them doing anything once they get there.
You had them not winning a game, and now you're going to complain because they don't. You're saying the only season that you can enjoy is a Super Bowl winning season.
It's just with this Jets team, I can't
And
enjoy
an undefeated season.
Good point. He needs an undefeated Jet season. Who was that just smiled at
I
me?
don't know. She's so pretty.
She's gorgeous. She was like she would win like the queen or something. She had great like a spine.
Yeah, good posture.
I never stood this straight in my life. Do you ever catch yourself like you're walking down the street and just see yourself in a fucking thing? I look like I was humped over like that lady was on after the gold rush next to fucking Neil Young.
I hate seeing him because I'm already so short. So when I catch myself and I'm just like slumped down in a chair, looking so tiny, why would I do that?
You never promote yourself, and obviously Vito or Chris is
uncomfortable for me.
Going to promote you. Jen isn't going to promote you, even though she's the executive producer of Gail Meets Girls. I will say this. I sat down. I've never said this another thing. I was laughing, then I was crying, and then I was very jealous that wasn't an unmasked. I said to myself, I'm going to fucking get even with Chris Stanley because that thing was so great that it made me jealous.
Yes, Lynn Koplitz is a new episode of Gail Meets Girls. She was just so amazing to talk to. She is at just like a really exciting time in her career. She has a Netflix special out, and it's a very heartfelt conversation.
Well,
Does have tears.
I'll say what I loved about it. First of all, how she got the Netflix special.
Yeah, that was so fascinating.
And you could say that she fell into it, but she fell into it with, 25 or 30 years of experience, so she was prepared for it. But it was not a great business plan. It was one fortunate thing happened after another, and she took advantage of those things, and then got the special on very short notice, which I don't even understand where Netflix was at, where they would say to someone, you wouldn't say to somebody, we like your script, we want to start shooting the movie.
Yeah, I can't believe they wouldn't at least give her like 6 months. But they were like, let's turn around and do this. We're into this idea. Here's what we want to do with you. She had a very short time to turn that around, and she went for it. You've got to go for those opportunities.
Well, she does. I refuse to. I refuse to go for any opportunities. I want opportunities to come to me and beg me. And then I go, okay, I'll do it, but you do most of the legwork. And then the other thing was, and I love Joan Rivers. She talks about, Joan Rivers was her mentor, her friend, and she talks about Joan getting sick, and not getting sick, but that fucking terrible doctor, everything that went into it, and then the funeral with such detail and such heart. And when I did the salute to Joan Rivers, I tried to get Chris to get her. And she goes like this, no, Chris, I won't do anything for you ever. But no, she said she wasn't able to talk about it then.
Right.
But then, even then, it sounded like a little bit of a bad thing to even do a salute to somebody. Or she was talking about people who have done that and then don't know the person. And that was making me laugh because I saw Gurion on TV being introduced as the best friend of Jerry Lewis. This clip isn't anywhere, and I think one time I tried to shoot it on my phone while I was watching it. You just hear me laughing, and then it was too. But then when I got a new phone, I kind of lost all my fucking pictures and video. I'm sure they're on a cloud somewhere. That makes me uncomfortable. But it's amazing. It's an amazing interview that you did with her. It just crushed me. Jen was in there with you?
Yes, and it was very emotional in the room.
Jen, come on over here. How did you not lose it during that?
I was a little I was tearing up.
Tearing up?
Thank God I didn't have to
was
talk. Because
sobbing.
My throat was like I let awkward, sad, I didn't know how Gail was talking because I was like, I don't know how you're talking right now because my throat is just swollen.
I was sobbing, and here's the things that got to me. Well, I don't want to give it away, but there was even something that Howard Stern said that she quoted, which seemed way more sensitive and vulnerable
than
anything and that killed me. And literally, I could just picture her in my face, you know what I mean? Like her face and the times that Joan Rivers I'm talking about, and the times that we spent. All right. Here's something that came out. A certain film. Go ahead. You want to plug how to get it?
Oh, yeah. Go to interrobang.com for this Gail Meets Girls with Lynn Koplitz. It's available on iTunes and on Google Play as well.
And you can get all the Gail Meets Girls on there, but I really this one's just slayed me on so many personal levels. All right, a filmmaker has said that they are ashamed that Harvey Weinstein financed their work. Name that filmmaker, and this is the grand prize before we go into commercial. Vito, you're the youngest, and you have the biggest scarf on your head, so I'm going to go to you first.
Is it Quentin?
Is it Quentin? Chris Stanley?
Is it Kevin Smith?
And Gail?
Is it Scorsese?
I know you think people like Woody Allen's, Scorsese. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of great filmmakers whose work he's financed. But it is one of the people that you guys have said. Now, if you'd all like to change spots, you have a right to. And we have Quentin Tarantino, Marty Scorsese, and who was yours, Chris?
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith. Now, you each have the chance to stay with what you have Like, let's make a deal.
Okay.
Or move.
I feel like making moves. Is that that's within the rules?
Go ahead, make a move.
I make a move to Martin Scorsese.
Vito.
I'm making a move to Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with my bet of Marty Scorsese.
Oh, shit.
Or Scorsese.
Congratulations to Vito.
Oh.
Vito.
Come on. You should have stayed.
Vito, congratulations.
Chris.
Fuck.
That is so him that if he had the right answer, that he would bail on himself. You had the right answer.
Here's what I was thinking, though. Scorsese, lived through the crazy times. I'm sure he's got a couple of broads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good point. He's thinking maybe like, this is a good distraction for me.
Scorsese has actually been with some incredible women in his life. Like, not only beautiful women, but incredibly talented women. But I was watching a little bit of him in the Spielberg documentary. Do you guys know that this HBO did the Spielberg documentary?
No.
So I started, it was on last night. It was on at 6:30. And then I said, fuck, I didn't know it was on at 6:30 because I'm trying to tape everything last night because I watched 19 Sunday night shows. So it was like 8 o'clock when I figured it out. The thing started at 6:30. So I'll go, oh, today I'll tape it before I leave. But there's only a just watch now. So I go, I'll watch a couple minutes. I ended up going, I should really call off work today because this is going to be, I have to go back and finish it because I get caught up in those filmmaker type documentaries. And this had Scorsese talking about Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola is talking about and Lucas. And you see just these incredible shots. Did you guys see Duel? I know I brought it up before. Duel, the TV movie?
Yeah.
I have seen it once before. This is the...
When you were little?
Yeah, when I was young.
Yeah. And you'll see how much that Jaws was based on.
It's the truck, right?
Yeah, it's the truck chasing a guy. I'm trying to think of who the actor was because he was like a favorite actor of mine when I was a kid. He was a big TV star. And he was saying that Duel was based on his childhood over being bullied. That's what he felt like.
They
like
were
when he
just
was
on
in
the
school.
run. And
you were just constantly on the run.
Dennis Weaver?
Yeah, Dennis Weaver. What was his two big TV shows? I know he was on Gunsmoke, but then he was the...
McCloud?
Yeah, McCloud was a giant show in the 70s. And it was like a cowboy solving crimes in the city. And I remember there was a scene of him riding his horse through New York City. And I'm telling you, it was just fucking great. And yet, if you looked at the guy now, you're like, he can't act. There was zero range there, but people just fell in love with him. And like every time that we would be watching McCloud, my dad would always go like this. You know what his best work was? And I go, here comes a Gunsmoke talk, right in the middle of a McCloud episode. When I was younger, any father only watched sports and cowboy shows, nothing else. Like you wouldn't have your dad going, who's on this sitcom and enjoying it?
Right.
Men did not sit around and laugh at sitcoms. It was not for them. Maybe Archie Bunker, but nothing else. Like your dad would just get up and leave during Happy Days.
Kid stuff.
Yeah, he just felt like it was stupid. Why are we watching this? But it was a cowboy, forget about it. Are you surprised that Kevin Smith or anybody else would do that, or you feel like...
No, I think that's about in line with Kevin. I mean, now that I think about my answer versus that answer, it's starting to make more sense.
And people get mad for Friends not coming out and bashing the guy. But when I saw when Roger Ailes had been in trouble, and who's the news guy at Fox, the midday guy?
Shepard Smith?
Yeah, Shepard Smith was talking about him, and he was crying. You know what I mean? And because that guy had done a lot for him, and they had a close thing. And women get mad at men for that, but we don't always see, the things that you're talking about. They're just not available to us.
Right. And then there are also people who work with those people professionally. Like I know Ann Coulter posted a thing of like, look at Meryl Streep with Harvey Weinstein. And this picture is like, who was it wasn't in a picture with Harvey Weinstein. Just because it's not like she hid his secret for him. She just didn't know that was somebody's experience.
Harvey Weinstein did this show twice. And both times it was some of my favorite things because he loves and knows movies. And then he would text me later and go, you're simply, great at this. And I love that you know film and you're passionate. You know what I mean? Like that was that was amazing to me. And then we even text back and forth. I'm like, Harvey, you should be, you should be selling your own movies through podcasts and stuff. As well, I was kind of hoping that he would go, maybe I need somebody like you there. You know what I mean? I go, me? Yeah, I guess I could do that or help produce film. But you know what I mean? Like, I was incredibly happy just to have that dialogue with him because I can't tell you how much I love his films. Now, this stuff comes out. I knew Harvey was a bully. I had read books and heard about it and knew that he was a screamer. I had a friend of mine was a kid, worked for him, and said that both Weinsteins it was the most tensest time of their life. But I was going simply the same way you would with a football coach of, fucking guy's great.
Right.
I'm sure I'm sure anybody who's ever worked with anybody, there's people that worked here, had tense relationship with Chris and then had them be in their wedding once they stopped working together. You know what I mean? But felt like, Chris gave him nothing when he worked with us. That's just work. I mean, you know what I mean? You're not going to get the best of anyone. When Ralphie May died, everybody put out, what a sweet, kind man. And then Anthony Cumia put out, he was an asshole, right? And people got mad about that or whatever, but that was their relationship together. You know what I mean? I guess he could have go, I know a lot of people have a great, relationship with Ralphie. I didn't have that, but I wish his family, but Anthony doesn't write that way. He just wrote, he was an asshole. But to them together, you know what I mean?
Right.
I have friends that other people say to me, how are you even friends with that asshole? And I'm like, he's not, I have a great relationship with him. I know you don't.
Yeah. And
how do I know who the asshole is?
And particularly when you're talking about work relationships, because you don't know that person's personal life. You know what I mean? Like when it's a work relationship, you're only going, oh yeah, I love working with Harvey Weinstein because he produces great movies and he gets the shit done. They're not thinking about like, well, how is he when the doors are closed and the way he knows. Most people don't know that. That's stuff that happens when they go, oh my God, we didn't know about Cosby, right? And then people are just like, well, I knew Cosby and he didn't rape me. Yeah, that's what's so shocking about these things sometimes is sometimes people have a secretive aspect of their personality that they could be hurtful to other people, even if they're being a professional to you.
Well, you look at Bing Crosby. I don't know if we have anybody who is beloved now the way Bing Crosby was beloved. He was pre-Sinatra, in movies with Bob Hope that were gigantically big, film star, TV star, touring star. I mean, there was nothing. And he was always beloved. And then his kids later put out books that Bing Crosby used to come home and fucking punch him so hard he'd break a bone. No one was aware of that.
Right.
Nobody saw that except for those kids. Now, does it take away from his work, the way you look at his work? Or can you look at the work but not have it poisoned? Does it poison it somewhat? I mean, the fact of the matter is, you listen to White Christmas, you're like, oh man, no one's ever done that as good as that fucking guy. But you're not saying, I'm dreaming of beating up my kid. I mean, you're just like, what was wrong with this fucking dude?
Right.
How could you, just when you got home were you in such a rage?
Right. And then you give the best of yourself to others. That is always the weird thing, is that there are people who are cruel to people who are not in a position of power. They're cruel to their kids or their wife, and then they turn around and then they give the world something beautiful or something amazing. It's peculiar that it happens that way, but that is the way it happens.
It is the way it happens.
Sometimes you give the best of yourself to the people that to the public, and you give the worst of yourself to people who matter.
My grandmother would just start talking to anybody, right? And she wasn't like that with us. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you were in a store with her, you're like, we got to go, Marge. And stop going on and on about all of our business with this girl who works at a 7-Eleven. But she wasn't overly talkative like that at home. You know what I mean? But she loved she loved small social interactions.
Yeah.
But Meryl Streep just got treated like a queen. And by the way, when you're a sexual predator, you're not going to go after Meryl Streep. You're going to go after the weaker, because that
someone who's not in a position of power. She would be in a position of power. A young Rose McGowan who's like figuring out her career, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Doesn't have enough connections in the world, is a target to somebody like that.
By the way, I've even heard of male stars who have fucked their way to the top. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Some that are very famous and members of Scientology. But it doesn't mean that those stories are even true just because I heard them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I've heard of all kinds of people that have played office sexual politics. How do you know when it's okay and when it's not? There's a lot of young girls who are like, I'll suck any dick to fucking move up in a corporation. There are there's guys like that. There are guys who are like, I'll do whatever I have to do. They seem like they're the boyfriend of the fucking boss, even if they're not. So you don't always know. And if you go back, if you're going to look at Harvey at all, it was a weird thing that took place for decades and decades and decades. I mean, it was a long time before I heard from HR of like, hey, when these interns come in, I don't want you, I mean, we used to fucking throw baseballs at interns or whatever, you know what I mean? That was a whole part of an internship. You know what I mean?
Can you take a punch?
Yeah, they had to do a lot of crazy, they had to do stunt work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought the intern thing, I mean, only recently did they start giving them any money. I never thought there's something in it for these interns,
Right, because then you establish yourself as a guy who, like, gets a punch. You know what I mean? Like, you come in and
you could end up being the joke rather than being seen as a person of authority, or also you're getting coffee for people, but then how does that make you, that's why I always like to see, what do you want to do? Is there something you're not learning here? Because I feel like we owe it back that way. I don't know. What is it, Chris?
We have some more live reads to do.
He just, instead of saying that, he just holds him up like he's...
Thanks.
You know what I mean? I hope it's Ring.
It is.
Good. Ring's mission is to make neighborhoods safer. Today, over 1 million people use the amazing Ring video doorbell to help protect their home. Ring knows home security begins at the front door, but it doesn't end there.
So now they're extending that same level of security to the rest of your home with the Ring Floodlight Cam. Just like Ring's amazing doorbell, Floodlight Cam is a motion-activated camera and floodlight that connects right to your phone with HD video and two-way audio that lets you know the moment anyone steps on your property. See and speak to visitors, even set off an alarm right from your phone. With Ring's Floodlight Cam, when things go bump in the night, you'll immediately know what it is. Whether you're home or away, the Ring Floodlight Cam lets you keep an eye on your home from anywhere.
Ring Floodlight offers the ultimate in home security with high visibility floodlights and a powerful HD camera that puts security in your hands. With Ring, you're always home. Save up to $150 off of a Ring of Security kit when you go to ring.com/comedy. Ring.com/comedy. That's ring.com/comedy. Bennington Show. Where's Big Vito at?
I'm not sure. I believe in the bathroom.
Jeez.
Oh, this is
stuff can't keep happening mid fucking show now.
I know.
He's been dumping mid show.
That's a fireable offense.
I hold it every time.
Yeah, I know, but you hold it too much. He has a thing where he won't ever poop before
Well, Chris
the show.
tries to hold it and turn it into fat.
Can I reabsorb this?
It's working for you.
It's building. Yeah, Veal just has to learn. Or just change his diet altogether.
I know you guys didn't see that thing the other night, but there was somebody in a sketch that I thought was BL on SNL.
This was one of the later sketches?
Yeah, I think maybe even the last sketch of the night. There's also a thing, I would think you put it, Gail, that are women getting less monogamous?
Yeah. There was, so it's either one of two things. It's either that women are cheating more than they used to, or it's that women are more honest about having cheated in the past. So it's one or the other. But it is certainly a sign that we have an image of women now that is far less monogamous than what we used to think.
Well, I remember the day that we said, when's the last, how many sexual partners should a woman have before it becomes ooh?
Right.
And you and Jen were way more generous than people of the past. I mean, there's no other time in history that anybody would have come 40 or 50, of you guys. So, the monogamy thing is, because marriage isn't as tied into church as it used to be, that has changed quite a bit. Does a woman think that she should go? Because I see women at the stand all the time that are here on a girl weekend or just on a girl's night and they're local. They're fucking wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're cut loose. Wild. Women cut loose when they're together. So the idea is monogamy just outdated in general for both men and women? Is it just becoming something we don't need, or a standard maybe that isn't necessary?
I would say this is only up to women. I think men, generations, and I'm talking going back to the time of Romans, have decided monogamy was not all that important.
But men have always wanted their women to be monogamous. That's
Absolutely.
The issue. Because like you could be dating someone and you're like, okay, this is a casual thing. And certainly some relationships, I would not want this person to be with other people.
Right.
But I feel kind of so-so about the guy, but we're having a good time. And then that guy will say, you're not seeing other people, are you? And then you're like, I guess we're not. No, okay. I thought we were going to do that.
Let me check with Chris Stanley, my friend of nearly a decade. You're with a Costa Rican girl, right?
Yes.
And their ways obviously are much different than ours.
As far as I can tell.
Would you mind if she was getting a little push in the bush?
Not for me. Yes, I would mind. I would mind that.
You would mind if she's getting a little side dick.
Some of that side dick. Yes, I wouldn't like that. No,
and that doesn't mean dick from the side. It's still going to go.
But
in the
you
same.
yourself, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You take your dick out for a walk at night. Put a leash on it.
You like to get a little air on it now and again, don't you?
Air it out.
Yeah.
Musty down
walk
there.
the dog. So for you, let's just say this is just a circumstance.
Yeah.
She says to you, hey, wouldn't it be great if we had an open relationship in which you get to have sex with people when you'd like, and I will have sex with people I would like? You would say, no go.
Couldn't we be more civilized and just say, don't anybody ask? Make it a don't ask, don't tell? Because I think what you don't know is sometimes easier than what you do know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that circumstance, you would be like, no, thank you. I don't want you.
I don't want an open
now,
relationship.
what if she says to you, I have no interest in anyone else but you. But just so you know, I think it's fine if you do. Would you take her up on that offer? Like, is your monogamy... Are you not sleeping with other people because you don't want her to sleep with other people?
Which, by the way, doesn't mean anything to me when someone does that. When someone goes, I wanted to do this, but I didn't, what is that supposed to even mean to me?
I think I might take... No, I wouldn't take it up for that offer.
What if you were...
You think that she's listening right now, and that's why you just said that?
Just that serious.
What if she said this?
Yeah.
Would you take her up on this offer?
Yeah, okay.
You can date ladies, and she'll date ladies. Would that bother you?
No, that wouldn't bother me.
See?
That's an interesting thing, right?
It is interesting and sexist and anti-gay.
Let me tell you what it is, though. It is only because that's gotten acceptable into a male brain. That's all. That's the only thing. There's no logic to that.
Nope.
But men I would say 100%. No, I'm going to go less. 85% of men would be okay with that.
Now, I know a guy who it used to make him really mad anytime he would hear guy friends say this. Like, I'd be cool with it if she was with a lady,
Right.
but like, I don't want to think of her. And it would make him really frustrated. Like, why do fucking guys say that? That's so weird. This guy has a lesbian mom. So this is somebody who was raised in like, this is monogamy to him. That is a real relationship.
Right.
So when a guy would say to them, I'd be cool with my chick, like having sex with a lady, he'd be like, why would you be cool with that and not be cool with a guy?
It's
just
almost like this, I think. It's because we don't think that we could lose a woman to another woman because we think we bring the most important thing to it.
Right.
Which is less, it's probably ignorance more than anything else.
Right. Because the thing that's being brought is specifically the dick. It's
Right.
it's not the like being a better listener, being, you know what I mean? Kinder, more supportive.
Oh, no.
What you're saying is, well, the dick reigns supreme. It's clearly.
Yes.
So
We do believe the dick reigns supreme, and it's a myth, but a myth that we happen to believe in, and
Right.
there are myths. But also, just because someone does something, I don't even see it as hypocrisy that they don't want it to be done to them. In other words, thieves don't go, and if anybody needs to steal from me, you know what I mean? Come right in through the second store window and steal. You know what I mean? Like, you never see a businessman who takes advantage of other people doesn't like to be taken advantage of. It's just that thing that why people move to their own place, right? They are on their side. It doesn't mean that they're a hypocrite because the other person is trying to get theirs. As a matter of fact, some people will make up lies about the other person so they can compete harder against them.
right. Or like if you think about in Big Brother, like anytime they'd be like, this guy's terrible because he stabbed me in the back.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, well, what about that thing you did to the guy the week before? That's different because it was still about me getting money.
That's gameplay.
that's totally different. That's not a stab in the back like this was to me.
But you never will hear a leader that'll be like the Iranians. Well, they're very good and sensible people. We disagree with on this. You know what I mean? We have to turn those people into monsters. Monsters. Break that down, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Break down monster. Mon. Right? Monday, right? Mon, right?
Mon.
Stir. To make sure all the sugar gets all around it, right?
Okay,
So
stir it
every
up.
Monday we're stirring their sugar. Gail tried to, and I don't know what you were hoping to gain from this, but like, you can't really consider Blade Runner because 30 million still is a lot of money. You now want that movie, not only that you enjoyed it, but you want others to enjoy it and you want it to be seen as a hit.
Yes, I want it to be successful because when you like a thing, you want it to have success and you want that to encourage people to make better movies, right? You want
Well,
to
that was years
say,
ago.
please make better movies because this movie's good. You too could make some money if you make a good movie. I don't want do people look at the box office sales and go, it's not doing very well. I don't think I'll go.
Yes,
Or do people-
yes, they do. Well, word of mouth is what they go around to. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so it was a success. So when it's like it's 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of people are like, I got to go and see this It. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not my kind of movie, but everybody's seen it.
Stuck around. Yeah, you're right.
I went to that Got movie that you talked me into seeing.
Get Out.
Get Out.
Thank you. I just call it Got. That wasn't the kind of movie that I would say. I don't like horror. I don't like people. But you're like, oh my God, the movie theater, this was old time fun. I'm like, okay, I'll see that movie based on what you're telling me.
Right.
I basically got one good review
Yes.
from you. And then it'll pop up other times in your life. But there's people think that everyone likes sci-fi. I don't think people like that kind of sci-fi that I like, and that's where Blade Runner falls into it.
And I think that this is such a good continuation of it. And this has been a long time since this happened to me. But I left the movie theater. I'm on my way home last night, and I just feel off. I just feel strange. I don't know really where my head is at.
Yeah.
And I start to try to express this, and then my boyfriend's like, I'm feeling the exact same way. And we were still with that like lasting weird dreamlike state that can happen when you have a really interesting artistic experience. And then this morning I woke up and it was gray and it was raining and I was like, I feel like I'm still in it a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's like the kind of experience I think it has, is it will have a lasting impression on you. And I think that people who like Blade Runner, the actual Blade Runner, will enjoy this as a continuation of that world.
Well, I loved Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And I saw it in the theater twice. And then when it came to cable, I watched it. I mean, it's one of those films that's probably one of my top films that I've watched a lot. I don't think there's a lot of popular films like that, but I could be wrong. But here's what it's lacking and what I would have told them. You need somebody with superpowers. You need somebody with a cape, a hidden identity. Is Vito back from chatting?
Yeah, he's back.
All right, send Vito in here. Because this could help out. Does he know how to come when he's called? Or
he's
do you feel like Jen didn't even tell him? Jen was like, yeah, I heard what Ron said, but I'm going to disregard it. I don't think it's going to work for the show. Sit further away, since I know you just wiped your ass. Thanks. So, Vito, you like the big blockbuster, and you love cartoon movies and comic book movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm done fighting it. I am done fighting it. I really want to start and produce some big comic book movies. I want to put the money away. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, a lot I'm going to gamble with, and a lot I'm going to use on drugs. You know, and just take this fucking Miami football offensive line, you know? Just not only am I snorting fucking rails, but doing it on video while I'm talking to my fucking girlfriend that's only my girlfriend for 2 days and that's it. So later she can sell it. So I got some ideas for like that I think would appeal to the DC or Marvel world. No one, all you guys.
Okay.
So I'm really looking for superhero movies, and let's face it, most of the superhero powers have been.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my first idea. Balloon Man. This is a man with the power of a balloon, and he's able to float.
Okay.
Probably give children. Make children happy. I mean, he's just floating around. And stuff.
Okay.
Is his skin thin?
So the skin is thin. The more gas that's out of thin. Now, what I want to have is something like, well, what would kryptonite be called, right?
It's like a weakness, or yeah.
His weakness is pins.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And sharp object, really?
No, pins.
Oh.
Here's my next idea, and this is using. Now, by the way, Blue Man, could that hit or?
Yeah, I think
honest.
No, Blue Man could be a hit, and like there's like different colors, and he could be part of a bigger team.
No, just one color and no teams.
Okay.
This one I think is for littler kids, but I like it.
Okay.
It's just called Hulk Dog. And I think we all know,
Yeah, I like
it's
this.
It's a dog that hulks out, and plus it's like cute. All right. This is what I like, and it's using one of their DC characters. I was jotting this down during the ball game.
Okay.
Jumping Jack Flash. Okay? So this is a Rolling Stones cover band.
Okay.
But they play really fast, and the big hook on it's kind of like a concert film, but it's going to be on the poster. It says one tour, one night. Jumping Jeff Flash. So they're hitting all these cities.
Okay, that could work.
Okay. I'm not even sure about this. This is Duckman.
All right.
And Duckman is just a regular man who's incredibly good at ducking.
Oh, wow.
So if you throw anything in, and then if anyone asks him about ducks, he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. But I want to end the movie with them throwing a duck at him and him slow, it's got to be a slow motion thing. I got an idea here. I think it's big because I don't know. I love that fucking Finding Nemo, right? So this is almost more of a cartoon. All right, this is called Aquafish, and it's about a fish that lives in the water. Okay.
Yeah.
Aquafish. All right, this one I think
Kids will like that.
I got another one. I really like this because I think it ties in on a couple of different angles here. I call it Metropolis Football, and it's kind of an NFL, but they use different, teams. And Superman is playing both sides. He's playing halfback, and he's playing middle linebacker. and they're just fucking 18-0. And I mean, this is exciting from a sports angle. And then their last game, they're playing against the San Diego Kryptonites.
Uh-oh.
What's going to happen?
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm not giving it away.
That's like his pins.
Yeah, everybody has their own pin. That's hard for you to deal with. I got some more. I don't know whether you guys are done with these or...
No.
I thought we would enjoy them.
No, this is great.
I really thought this was going to go great. All right, this is the next one. It's called Silver Man, and it's a female comedian that's oddly hot, and people are like, they think that they're going like, "Hey, you're not going to believe this," but I think I'm attracted to Silver Man, right? Even though she's funny and she always wears Converse, Silver Man. This one I'm not as sure about. It's just called "Come On, Man," and it's about a guy that's constantly upset with society, lines, traffic. That's "Come On, Man."
I thought that had to do with the NFL.
All right, I had Harvey Weinstein, man, but we've already talked about him.
Yeah,
he
sure.
uses his power to get people Oscars to grope and sexually assault. That's his thing.
I mean, it seems like that's a villain, but...
No, in this case, it's a hero.
Okay.
I guess it could be... There are dark heroes,
Yeah,
right?
anti-heroes.
I'm not going to say that, because an anti-hero is a villain.
No, an anti-hero like in a positive way.
Give me one anti-hero.
Like Deadpool's an anti-hero.
Never saw it. I don't even think it's a good show. This is way better. All right, here's the last one. I felt like I had run out of ideas here.
All right.
But this one is just called Mailman. And it's about a guy, he brings letters around, and he's dealing with the fact that because of email and Twitter and stuff, and UPS, I mean, he has nothing but problems.
Sure.
That sounds sad.
It is sad, but he gets a pension at the end of it.
That's great.
Maybe that one's not going to be the blockbuster, but I guarantee that's the best movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like a thinker.
Right, out of everyone...
It's an indie darling.
Yeah. That's what I like to call home later. You're going to get it home later. What's your favorite, Vito?
I think Duckman has the biggest twist in the whole movie that he doesn't even know what ducks are and that it's about ducking.
Well, he knows what ducks are. He just doesn't identify with them. And he just ducks really good at stuff. But I was worried because he can't really attack. I mean,
Sure, there's no offense to his...
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
Right.
Like, well, after he ducks...
Well, what if he
doesn't
ducks,
have-
it bounces off a wall and back at them?
Yeah,
you know?
that's really relying on a lot of chance.
He's going to use their force against everybody else. It's going to be like Taekwondo or Judo or whichever one that
Yeah,
is.
but he doesn't hit or anything.
No,
he just
he can't.
ducks.
Yes.
Duckman.
He ducks and then it hits him back. Duckman's got a lot of potential.
But you can't hit him with anything.
Yeah.
Like, there's not anything you could hit him with because
No.
he's so good at ducking.
I guess you could throw it really low, but you don't... I mean, he'll get
He's not
really low.
Jumpman.
Yeah, but he could get really, really low.
So his weakness is things being like rolled at him.
Yeah, everybo's got to have a weakness.
A bowling ball.
Looks like I just ducked what you threw at me.
Quack, quack.
And then he'll actually say, "No, that's my last name in real life." Like in real life, his name would be Ducky Quack, but no one knows that he's Duckman. All right, Chris.
I like Hulk Dog the best. I want to see a dog hulking out. I like a dog in a movie.
I don't know. Have they ever done an animal Hulk?
I don't think so.
They've never had an animal hulk out.
Because I had another idea, which is also Hulk Snake, and then I had Hulk Parrot. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's a series. I mean, that's what they want to see a franchise nowadays.
But
they don't
is
want to
Hulk-
think it's just one movie.
Yeah. Okay, good. Gail?
I think my personal favorite would be Mailman, but I think if I just look at what I think we could all get behind and have a financial success, Balloon Man.
Yeah, Blue Man's good because he's floating like a balloon.
Yeah, shit out.
Yeah, I just worry that it's too easy with the pins to get to him.
Because pins are cheap.
They are
and
cheap.
it's easy to get them.
Yeah,
like a lot of them.
but it would also be the thing is if you do hit him with that pin, like sometimes he'll pop, but other times he'll just be able to get away, just very fast, just take off.
And then he'll just go, "Thank you. You thought you were hurting me."
Yeah. Even though it's not your birthday, it looks like you just got a balloon. Jen, I'm going to go to you, and I know you're not as comic booky as these guys.
Not really, no. But I would say Blue Man.
Yeah,
I like the name.
Sure, Blue Man's good. And what if, like, during the daytime, he sells contraceptives?
That's good. Yeah.
That makes sense.
But is that just their job? Just
So that's
contraceptives?
I don't know if anyone is just a contraceptive salesman.
Okay.
I want to learn more about Hulk Dog's identity as a dog before he goes into a Hulk.
What's his origin story?
Yeah, like what, does he have a job? Like,
Well, here's the thing. He's a rescue dog. That's the beauty of it.
That's so good.
Yeah. But it left him with some incredible anger.
I mean, they are complex. They come with their own set of baggage.
Good, because I'm glad because, I mean, one of the initial ideas was going to be Spider Dog. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then I just thought maybe it's just a dog covered in spiders.
The entire film?
Yes, Chris.
I mean, someone's got to get the spiders off that dog.
I feel like you're missing the point
Yeah,
of
you do
Spider
miss
Dog.
the point. This isn't about brushing bugs off of a dog. This is a superpower, not a super problem.
He has the ability to be covered in spiders.
God, Chris, you can't even have a general laugh anymore.
Not even a chuckle.
I got to quit again.
All right, Vito, I need you to tap out with Jen because you know what's really embarrassing about that list?
What?
Is that I forgot that list at home and then had your mom like just take pictures of that and send it to me. Like, there they are right there. Is that embarrassing? But I was doing that during the Packers Cowboys game. What am I saying during the game? This took 2 minutes. It was a stupid thought. All right, let's go to George. George in Michigan. George.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Hey, I think Balloon Man's arch nemesis should be Prick Man.
Well, instead of that, he just calls people pricks when they're.
You're a real prick.
You're a real prick. Rich in Jersey.
Hey, I just want to let you guys know that the Hulk Dog was done in the Eric Bana Hulk movie.
What?
Oh,
Interesting.
okay. Good.
Now, you sure you're not thinking Mask? When the
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
When Milo put on the mask.
yeah, that's what happened. And if not, we'll just go back to Hulk Parrot.
And remember when Milo brought the cheese instead of the keys? It was so funny.
So fucking funny.
That dog was so talented. That was a dog from Frasier.
What?
The same dog?
That was Eddie from Frasier.
Yeah.
Holy
I had
shit.
never fucking known this. Thank God for Vito. Not one of us knew it.
He was in Frasier. He was in The Mask. He was also in.
I brought it up.
He was in
fucking
My
months
Dog
ago.
Skip.
No, you did
Yes,
not.
I did.
Months ago?
Yes, I did.
Find the tape.
Watch
I
Frasier.
will find the tape.
If you did say it,
Yeah.
you didn't say it enough in a way that all of us paid attention to.
I
Yeah.
feel like everyone was also surprised when I brought that up. I
No.
feel like, what are you talking
I
about,
mean,
Chris?
you saw our reaction
I know.
just now. We
I
were
know.
like, what?
First you do the Columbus Day special, then you have a fun fact like this.
Amazing.
That dog was talented.
Chris.
Yes.
Did we even run on volume over the weekend?
Oh, we'll be running this week. I got a late email on Friday. I have to talk. I have a meeting with them today after the show.
Why does it have to be that big of a deal?
I don't know, because I talked to them the day before, like, yeah, we're definitely running on the weekend. We love it. And then now it's going to be run in a package for a bunch of time.
First of all, people are well over petty at
There's
this
so
point.
many tragedies.
Did you see the opening with on SNL?
I did, yeah.
I'm going to say something that's highly controversial. Didn't work for me.
Oh, really? Because you didn't feel like you felt like they kind of stuck the two together. Is
I
that
just
the
felt
issue?
like I don't know the performer. What's his name?
Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean. I felt like he didn't bring the right amount of emotion to it, and it seemed like he was doing it like, "Hey, this works out nice for our band."
Right.
No, we're getting an SNL thing. That whole "we come together as America." I don't know if we're ready for that part yet. You know what I mean? Like we were still in the tragedy part of it.
Yeah, we still feel pretty shitty.
Yeah. And that stuff starts to sound fake. Of like we said, #Vegas strong. We've seen it too many times. I'm not saying I'm like Mike Pence and I got out and walked down on him, but I thought to myself, and by the way, I don't think he was the right guy to do that Petty song. I didn't think that was a thoughtful or interesting version
right
of the Petty song, or you just go to something that Petty already used on 9/11. I just didn't feel like there was a lot of thought into it, or even into this. The band looked like they were hitting it hard and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I would agree. It wasn't as it wasn't like a slow, thoughtful version or something that was. Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was the. I don't know. It just didn't work for me, but I can't speak for everybody. I don't think anyone else complained about it.
Dana White is pissed at Jason Aldean because apparently he offered him to come play a UFC thing in Vegas this weekend, and Jason Aldean turned it down to go do SNL.
That's something that you shouldn't be pissed about, like where you go and spread your thing. Like, you know, you don't want to own the tragedy either. You know what I mean? So I think Dana White comes across kind of, first of all, getting SNL or playing before a UFC thing. Any band is going to play SNL. Because like I said, I don't know him.
Yeah.
I don't know his fucking career. I don't know his songs. And that's the first time that I ever got to see him.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a...
Sorry, everybody.
Can I... I've told everybody, it's put your phones on mute, or I start walking around here with a bucket for the show.
No, please
and take
don't.
everybody's phones. Because I got Chris tapping away, and this is the second show in a row that you got a call during.
I know. I'm sorry.
Sorry does not pay for the pizza.
I'll pay for the pizza.
By the way, Pit Doc's coming in Wednesday, right?
Yes, Wednesday.
You know what he's getting?
I'm going to try to work that out from this time.
Oh, I'd love to know.
Okay, why don't you work it out of him in volume? Why doesn't all your stuff be a giant question mark? And then on mass that you're working on, let that be a big giant question mark. This unmasked, the one that we just did is coming up really, really good on Friday. I want to make sure I talk to you, Vito, about some outside things surrounding that.
Okay.
Because I know, Chris, your head wasn't into it. But it's Dana Gould. I didn't feel like Dana was taken care of by the company as well as he should have been. I don't feel like he got the love that some people get. And he was great. You know?
Yeah, he was fantastic.
I think people are really going to like him if you like The Simpsons and if you like show business stories. He had a ton of them.
Yeah, he was great. He had so many great stories.
Now, somebody said to me afterwards, I go, hey, did he drop an... And it was an employee here. Did he drop enough names for you? I go, what? It's not dropping a name if he was actually there for it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm saying, oh, I know this person or that person. I know this people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could tell you a funny story about Vito Calise, that would make you laugh.
It's funny because that's not really on my radar. When he was talking, I was just thinking, wow, he's worked with so many people and he's had a lot of cool experiences. It would not be on my radar to be like, that was name dropping.
I know. I never understand that gimmick. All right. So here is a commercial. I want you guys to decide whether it's offensive or not.
Okay.
It's Dove soaps, right? Dove's soaps. And you got it, Chris?
Yeah, it's coming up now.
All right, let's put it up here. They took some heat for this. Dove apologized. So here is a black woman, and then she uses the Dove soap, and look, she becomes clean enough that she's a white woman. Yeah. Now, some people found that to be offensive. But what part? What aren't I getting in this? When you use this, you're black. But after using this lovely lotion, look how white you get.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it hurts my skin to just look at it because it's so cringy.
Now, Dove soap they're big and they've been around forever, right? So they have to have a marketing department. I could see someone going, hey, is this a funny idea? And what you need is everyone else to go, no, that's not a funny idea. That's offensive.
Yes. Now, Dove, as backstory, is very much one of the first companies that they started to do that body positive imagery.
Right.
They started to have heavier set women, have super skinny women who weren't very curvy. There were, instead of just, women of all different kinds of skin color,
I didn't even
different
know
age.
that.
So they were one of those people who kind of was an early adopter of using the body positive movement for their advantage, just saying this is a body positive company. So these people are the types that they're just pitching all the time. That they're thinking about the new way. This is so off the mark. This is just
also when you're doing a shoot like this, there's always like at least 20 people hanging around the shoot. No one's going to say, dudes, I was thinking, since 1920s, there have been washing the black off commercials, and they've you could go back in time and see this kind of shit in magazines in like 1920, and you could make the excuse of like, well, those idiots, they choose their humorous joke over market share. But there's enough people, I'll give you look, so people in that room, people in the boardrooms, people checking. How about these two? How about this woman and this woman could have said to themselves, I don't know if I want to be in a racist bit.
Yes. This is so weird. It's similar to that Pepsi ad that you were like, hundreds of people worked on that ad. Nobody went, hey, this might be like a little tone deaf on the whole issue. This is crazy that these two women both wanted to model bad enough to go.
They needed
this. I'll do that.
I would have said this. Are we making sure kids can't see this? Because a kid could really feel bad if they see this.
It's so strange.
Or would this even be weirder if these two, since this isn't a commercial, maybe they had no idea.
Oh, I know.
What they were doing, right? And then you end up in this ad and your fucking neighbors are looking at you like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, what if, these two women might have not even been there at the same time.
They might have, of hundreds of people who've been shot for this, they don't know what for. I'll give you fucking 1,500.
Oh my God, it's so cringy. It's just really, really cringy. It's just a bad idea. And again, like you said, it's not like, oh, I'm so offended that this is making you furious. It's just more shocking that you could go, you're sitting in a boardroom, somebody pitches it, and everyone around the table went, that sounds good. Let's shoot that.
By the way, a friend of mine that I was talking to the other night, one of the people who works at the stand, but not a performer, although she's, done theater and stuff like that. She just got a voiceover, and her thing was like this, something like parts come separately. That's all she did. She didn't do the regular voice. A one-off, so she has to sign. She's not getting paid every time. 4 Gs.
What?
4 Gs.
For 5 words?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think they were going by word, but they gave her $4,000.
Yeah.
And then for 2 years, she doesn't see any more money. But if they're still running that 2 years from now, something else kicks in.
Voiceover, if you get the right spot, is the best bang for your buck. For entertainment, if you land yourself a national commercial, if you land yourself, a radio commercial that plays over and over, for the amount of time for you going to the studio recording, you are the highest paid actor for anything. It's crazy.
Did you see when that Pamela Adlon, it wasn't this week, I think it was the week before, but when she was with Tom Kenny and Billy West?
Yeah.
That was so fucking, that was so cute. And Billy West to me is like unbelievable, and Tom Kenny is probably the biggest star in the world to some people.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing is, and they do a bunch of them, it just looks like a ball to me.
It does look like a lot of fun.
Is this the one, do we have like offensive things from the past, or just we're doing these?
Just this one.
What's this all about here?
This is also, it's in the same ad campaign.
Oh, before and after.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they take her from black, it looks like Hispanic, or mulatto, I can't tell, into a nice white girl.
Yeah.
Nice, clean, white girl.
Very strange.
Clean skin.
Yeah, it seems weird that this would pass, particularly the I'm black turning into white.
See if you can find like racist stuff from over the years. I saw a piece on that.
Racist soap ads.
Yeah, racist soap ads is the way to go. Gail Meets Girls may be my favorite. I don't want to say anything about any
so
of the
glad
other
to
ones.
hear that,
I was
'cause
blown away by
I
this
loved this one so much, and I think Lynn Koplitz is just incredible. So definitely have a listen, because it's just like it's a cool conversation, and it's an exciting time for her, and then it just gets incredibly touching, the tribute that she does for Joan.
Like, here's some of the old school ones in there. Here's a black kid in a bathtub, and he's getting the black scrubbed off of him,
Yes,
right?
now he's white from the neck down.
Honestly, the same ad.
It's the same concept.
Here, same thing.
Yes. Here's a wash lady washing a black child in a basin. She scrubs his face, and now just his face is that of a white child.
That's how good the soap
It
is.
works that well. So weird. Just bizarre. And again, corporations don't care. When I say that Dove has those ads, I don't say Dove normally cares about, body positivity. No, there was a body positivity
trend,
and then they went, how can we make this work for us? Like, I don't even give it to, oh my God, they're a moral company who feels this way. They used that to their advantage. So I definitely don't think that they even think, is this right or wrong? It's just weird that they're like, how can you not see that this is...
You have enough people working there. It's not like they were like when you're doing live radio and you're trying to think of something and you said something awful like, oh, I'd rape her in the ass. And then everyone laughs. And then later you go, were you really going to rape her in the ass? And you're like, no. I was making a joke during a live radio show.
If somebody said, okay, we're going to do this thing and it's going to be like this whole thing and we're going to pre-record it and you're going to say that you raped someone in the ass and we're all going to act like, oh my God, no. And then you're like, especially if there's like time and thought and multiple people, like, let me look at the script on this. So he's going to say he's going to rape her in the ass? I'm Ron Bennington. How does it get past that many people?
I don't know.
You know that this is a sensitive time that we're living in. People are saying all the time, oh my God, people are so sensitive, they get upset over everything. This doesn't make you go, is this going to be one of the things people get upset? Across the board, let's just look at it because there's a trend of that going
I'm
on.
sure even the lawyers look to make sure there's not like copyright infringement or stating that you could do something that you can't, like scrub African Americans into being Europeans, Anglo-Saxon Europeans. Fucking bizarre, crazy Dove. The weird thing is, after I saw this ad, I went out and bought some. I don't even know what got into me. I think that's how it sticks into your head.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the age, I do this all the time. I don't even know what they're selling. I fucking constantly say that with commercials because I don't know. Am I buying insurance, a new car, or getting better gas?
It's just a weird commercial.
Most commercials I only see during sporting events. I've come down to the fact that if I'm going to watch, I watch a show semi-live. If it's going to be on network, I start like 15 minutes into it and start to work my way along.
That's a great feeling. And then you've caught up, and then you feel like, I kind of watched it live, because you catch up like 3/4 the way in.
You're not going to hear from somebody. Oh, could you believe that? I don't know what rocker just went in to see Eddie Trunk, but they were dark, and they were evil, and they were scurr.
Very metal.
Terrible. Yeah, trouble metal person, a very a metal person. I know, they're just just getting even with everybody. I think they're doing a doc. I saw a preview for either Black Sabbath or Ozzy. I don't know, but I will watch most rock docs. Matter of fact, I can't think of a rock doc I won't watch, no matter who it's about. Like, I could watch a New Kids on the Block rock doc and enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even have to like the music.
Because it's about the business and the drama of all of it. It's fun.
Yes, the business and the rise and fall and the drugs and the wrong women and finally that right woman and rehab.
And that's when he said, you're out of the band.
Yeah. And then we found out he was doing a solo project behind our back. That's always my favorite. The guys in Genesis they claim to this day that Phil Collins had first pitched In the Air Tonight as a Genesis song, and then they heard it recorded on his solo project. So even though he had written it, they were hurt and disturbed by him.
But they passed on it, no?
No, they didn't pass on it. It was like the early stages. You know what I mean? And he's like, here's a little something. I don't know if it's going to work at all. And if you told me you were... And then I don't know what I got. Grounding, growing. And if you told me you were ground beef, I would not lend a bun. Your special sauce is not much fun. I don't know what it has. I got something.
So there's something there.
And then they hear it later and they're like, we wanted that song. But I think Phil Collins was the first guy who tried to do like, I'm in a band, plus I have a solo career at the same time. So he would do like his solo album, a tour, the band's solo album, a tour, his solo album, a tour, all throughout the 80s.
Right.
And like you couldn't get away from the motherfucker. By the time the 90s got here, everyone just went, enough, Phil Collins.
Get out of here.
I don't want to fucking hear that you're back in the studio for any fucking reason. Take a long break. Okay? A long fucking break. Learn about the Alamo. Do you know that about Phil Collins? He has the world's biggest collection of Alamo artifacts.
I did not know that about Phil Collins.
He's obsessed with the Alamo.
Wow, why? What about it? I mean,
Well,
why not anything else?
He was like he came of age in the 1950s, and I had a feeling that he saw the Davy Crockett thing when he was a kid, and then the Rio. I don't know. Why do some people love the Titanic? I don't know. But he had collected so much stuff, and he's gone, now I'm worried what's going to happen my collection, but I found someone to give it to. The Alamo. And I was like, I'm sure they were the only other people that would have been bidding on this in the first place. But
they give an offer and you're like, well, I'm holding out to see if there's anyone else interested. No, take the money.
We had Phil Collins scheduled, and then like a couple days later, Billy Bob Thornton. And Billy Bob Thornton had played in that Alamo movie that didn't do so well. But I saw that in the book, in his Alamo artifacts, Phil Collins had said that he liked that Alamo and he liked Billy Bob Thornton. So my plan was, I told Chris, when Phil Collins comes in on a Tuesday, let's have him sign that book to Billy Bob Thornton. And then Billy Bob Thornton will come in on a Thursday and we'll hand the book to him and say that's from Phil Collins, and just make a moment out of it, and it would be cool. And then Phil canceled on that one. He came back a time later, but he's got like a bad back and everything. So, but that was like annoying to me the whole time I was Billy Bob. I'm like, this is probably the point I would have gave him the book. And I think even Billy Bob brought up that he was in that movie. And I'm like, so what, Billy Bob?
We had something special planned.
Here's an unsigned book. Like a signed book, it seems like it's the most fantastic thing that has ever happened. People have given me signed books.
Yeah, well, isn't that a thing like somebody gives you either a book that you've read or from an author, and you're like, oh my God, that's nice, thank you. And then you open it and you're like, what?
Yes.
Like it's a very classy move.
Yeah. I've had 2 people do that to me with Vonnegut books. And oddly, I treasure them. I don't know. Oddly, I don't read those books because I just feel like I'm so sloppy. You know what I mean? Because I'm like my own paperbacks, I'm fucking tearing out a page after I'm done, wiping my mouth with it and chucking it.
I'm very bad with books. Like the cover gets fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm rough on them.
I'd say I read the book cover to cover, but the cover's gone by the time I finish the book. This is maybe a story that you kids can help me out with. The Rick and Morty. It's a cartoon that. Is it based on Back to the Future?
It originally, so like before the show came out, they did a small sketch that was based on Back to the Future. Now it's not so much, but the original characters are.
Do they time travel?
There's like it's the multiverse. There's time traveling. They go to different universes. They travel with aliens. They go to space.
I will tell you, I've seen clips of this and I just didn't get it. Just didn't stick to me. So there was a time tie-in with McDonald's for what kind of sauce, Vito?
The Szechuan sauce from the Mulan like they did an episode where he was going back in time and he specifically went to go pick up the Szechuan sauce from Szechuan.
From what's Mulan, the movie?
The Mulan. McDonald's did a special campaign when Mulan came out where they had Szechuan sauce.
Yeah.
And it was a part of the episode, and then people started tweeting how much they wanted it. Bring back the Szechuan sauce.
So
what am I saying wrong?
Szechuan.
You put an actual but I like that you snapped at Gail. I never saw you do that.
Because I don't understand what.
Normally you snap at Chris, though, and that's fun. But this was exciting.
Yeah.
You know, this was like, oh my God, very special Bennington. It's a breakup of the two pals. So the geeks showed up. And obviously, McDonald's didn't buy enough sauce, so they started going batshit. And there was just clip after clip, it's up on the iBang, of nerds threatening people who work at McDonald's. Give me some volume, Chris.
Jesus!
Yeah. Now, did you know Rick and Morty was this big?
I knew that there are like that has a big fan base, but I didn't know enough to make people go nuts.
I had no idea.
This is fucking bananas. There's a line out the door.
They're trying to bolt the door too. All right, stop it there because there's other clips. So you can see like this is like fucking 1996 and Puffy put an album out. You know what I mean? This is another place.
Different one, yeah.
And first of all, if I'm the unfortunate manager of McDonald's and these motherfuckers are screaming, "Give us sauce," I'm gonna knock them out. All right, more. Look at the pack.
Oh my God.
So
this is a bad look for everyone involved.
Vito, did this cartoon, Rick and Morty, did they do a lot of episodes on this sauce or just one?
A one-time reference that sent people into like tweeting at McDonald's, bring back the sauce,
Was it a meme thing online?
It was a big meme, big GIF, big trend.
So it's not even like Rick and Morty could feel like, hey, look, we did this bit and it worked out. It's almost like their fans went off on their own.
They got out of hand.
Now, Chris, you're not giving us any background. Are we looking at different cities?
These are different. This is on the West Coast. This is another one, I believe, in L.A. This is another.
But is there any? Is this an L.A. thing that happened? Because it.
No, I think it was across
Florida. That's UCF.
Oh boy!
Oh
boy!
The one above it was Los Angeles.
All right, let me see. At least Florida, break it up a little bit.
I want you guys know because it's hot out. I don't think anybody knows. I was back in the back.
What's the McDonald's kid saying? There's not enough?
Yeah, he's saying that you guys have to come back. There's not enough sauce.
We only have 20.
We only have 20? There's like 200 people standing right there.
Yeah. I just work here.
I just work here.
I just work here.
I don't order the sauce. I'm literally 15.
I'm 15 years old. I make minimum wage. Please don't yell at me about Szechuan sauce.
It was a 24-hour thing, and it was like really limited edition. Not even every store got the sauce.
No, that's what some of the people were mad about. That they went to their McDonald's and they were like, "What do you mean Szechuan sauce?" We have our own special sauce, which this is mayonnaise with ketchup. It's a very special sauce.
We want Szechuan sauce.
So, then they said, "Well, we'll bring it back this winter for more than for like a month." You know what I mean? Like they're just going to go.
You're going to give in to these punks.
I know.
I mean,
right?
Look at the way they treated your stuff.
McDonald's, the statement they came out and made was really like, we fucked up. Like they wrote, we tried to do something nice, and as like nice as we meant it to be, it didn't go so well.
I agree with
so don't
them.
worry.
They don't owe you this sauce.
No.
Right? They go, oh, we keep getting texts, so we'll throw out some sauce.
How about this?
From the 90s, which we don't make
This
anymore.
is what I write. You treat my employees like shit. No one's getting sauce. That's what I would tweet out as McDonald's.
This is like looking out, like you're running McDonald's, and you just look out, there's nothing but Harvey Weinsteins wherever you look. John in Richmond. John.
Hey guys, what's going on? I was actually at McDonald's up in Arlington near JFK, and as you said, only 20 sauces came out, and then people were butthurt about not getting a poster and a sauce, but we ended up getting 2 sauces, me and a buddy of mine. Tried one, it was super salty, as expected, but I'm selling my sauce on eBay right now, and the bids are right now over $100 for a little sauce.
Like an idiot, you licked the other sauce.
You shouldn't have had it.
We
just cost yourself 100 bones.
Sold 2, but there are people selling it on eBay right now for over $1,000.
Geeks are the dumbest people I've ever seen.
Don't understand. He just said they're coming back.
Yeah, do it fast.
Oh yeah, you're smart.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Well, he just licked maybe $1,000.
I forgot. I forgot about the first salty bite you had.
What did they put the Szechuan sauce on before?
It's got to be for nuggets, right? It's like a dipping
it was
sauce.
a dipping sauce for nuggets. That's all it was when Mulan came out.
Right. So this was just like a weird little movie tie-in promotion. And because they mentioned it in the show, now if anyone ever said to me, is this a big show that could get riots going anywhere, I would say no, it is not.
Well, same.
But it is.
Too, that was like had hashtag boycott McDonald's trending, too. Boycott McDonald's.
But they're doing that to
the
be
sauce.
funny, though. You know what I mean? Like, they think that's hilarious.
Oh, God. Right.
They could just put down Weinstein rape McDonald's. Am I going back to the Harvey thing too much?
No.
Okay.
It's so topical. It's on all our minds.
What if I would have got that podcast that I was dreaming
I know.
about?
This would be...
I'd be running the podcast by myself.
I guess so.
Probably get Gail to come fill in for a while. If you like it, stay. You don't. There's no pressure with this. Where's this one at, Chris?
This is another one in L.A.
Oh, boy, you love the L.A. stuff.
It was very heated in L.A.
I'm serious. I'm 100% serial, guys. Sauce is out. Restaurant's closed. Everything is done.
All right, now let me just stop this. So that's the cops, right?
Yeah.
The cops had to say to the geeks, I'm 100% serial. Ugh. Geeks have won. The geeks have inherited the earth. The Bible was fucking right, but off by a single letter. Chris, what kind of lunch you got lined up after?
I do not have a lunch lined up.
Wait, aren't you forcing me to stay here for other stuff today?
Yes, for about a half hour.
Guess what? Call everyone that you need and tell them no. Ron's not doing it.
Okay.
Tell them I've heard about Szechuan sauce so much.
Szechuan.
I'm leaving here for a lovely McDonald's lunch, which I will say, you have any of that Szechuan sauce? Sure, we got crates of it. Nobody came to this one. We're not in the fucking L.A. or Florida. Only hot people like this sauce.
And hot people riot. That's really the issue.
Well, it's a white riot. White riot. White riot. I mean, they were just yelling more than, no one thought to throw a brick through the window like it was do the right thing. Oh, that was a trash can, not a brick. Hey, Chris is waving. Hey, buddy.
I do want some nuggets.
Are you giving me the wind up the show?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because we only took one break today also.
Oh, my God. He's so specifically real on air. Instead of saying it's the end of the show, he has to penalize us for why we did it. You're truthful. You'd be an awful carny. This is Chris Stanley as a carny. Try to win a bear dog. You won't. Giant bear dog. Give me 50 cents and you won't win anything. Come play my impossible game. Impossible to win game. The other night, this is when David Tell goes on stage, he always says this to me. You staying down here, right? I go, yeah. And then he'll be doing his premise. He goes, I don't know, Ron, and he'll throw something out. And so he asked me a question, and I said, I smoke cigars. And out of nowhere, he goes like this. What are you doing, waiting for a carnival to break out? Now, I'm telling you, David Tell Live. I don't know if there's ever been a better person. That's how fucking funny.
Yeah, he's
that
fantastic.
I just started laughing like a fan, even knowing I knew that he was going to drag me back in for different things. And this has happened twice in 2 weeks. And I just end up laughing and then turning around to the people in their tables. And I'm like, right? We're all experiencing this. It's really fucking next level shit. God damn, is he funny. We had funny people all weekend. But why are you demanding that I come to a meeting after the show, Chris? What is that fucking demand about?
I know. I mean, we should have a meeting. That's all.
It's not with you. It's with other people, though, right? I don't mind meeting with you. You're fine. I don't want to see another person outside of this room. And that should be in my contract.
Will there be chicken nuggets?
Call Bob Eatman immediately.
Can't.
You don't even like the improv, do you? You're worried that I'm being serious, that it could turn serious at any second?
No.
Well, you're not doing what an improv person would do. You're getting smaller and quieter.
Smaller and.
Great job, except for hurting Mateo Lane's feelings. I think that you find out the person who timed you out, you specifically, you need to make an enemy of that guy and put him on your enemies list. But I don't want you shitting during the show anymore. This is a 3-hour window that you don't shit. And guess what? What would you be doing if this was a play? Okay? If this was a play or a football game.
How would you make it through Blade Runner?
So you want
2049.
You want to shit again? You bring your shit bucket in here, okay?
Okay.
And you carry that around with you, and you write shame on it in your grandma's lipstick.
It just feels so good to shit sometimes.
But again, what would you do if this was a play, Vito?
What I do when I go to a play or a movie or anything and I have to shit is I set a timer, so I know exactly how much time I'm spending in the bathroom, and I try to make it back in less than 3.5 minutes.
What is the timer going to do?
I don't want you watching a play. You're in a play.
Oh.
I can't have you not on stage for 3.5 minutes, okay? I don't want to be fucking yelling, Romeo, Romeo. I know you're busy right now, Romeo.
Seriously.
But I'm serious.
Wherefore art thou?
Stop ignoring me, Romeo. Don't be mad at me. It's my dad. All right, take some time to think, Romeo.
The stage manager's going, stretch. Stretch, he's stupid.
As I said, Romeo, earlier, where are you? You're somewhere. Wait, are you behind that bush? That giant rock?
No.
By the way, him saying he sets a timer. I know he's not wiping. If he's on a speed thing, you're not wiping.
No.
I wipe very well. I'm a very good wiper. I wipe so thorough, and I even check the toilet paper to make sure I did it.
All right, that's not my business.
God damn it.
Please. I have enough for you.
Can I call? Can I call this time?
No, because
because anytime you do make a call, it doesn't work out. And that's why I'm stuck in a fucking meeting today.
And he's the worst shitter here.
No, I don't want to even hear. I don't want either one of you talking about it.
I never bring it up.
All right, I'm done.
You know what? I want you to give you the opportunity to say goodbye to your friends and fans from here. Because you've taken this show into a place where me nor human resources can stand.
I apologize
It's
for the
inhuman.
comments.
Go over to Gail Meets Girls. It's my favorite. It's up on the iBang. And all the stories today we talked were on the iBang. But Lynn Coplitz, it's cut in two halves like Kill Bill to me. The first half is this bizarre story of how she ended up with a Netflix special when her career was at a real low light. And then Joan Rivers, her illness, and then the funeral, she detailed it, and she pulled my heart out of my chest.
Yeah, it's a really, really touching, moving, heartbreaking conversation, and the way she feels about Joan is just, it's just incredible. Like the impact that Joan had on her.
Okay, guys, that's it for us. We're going to see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!